is in honor of Star Trek, our opening movie. Here we go.
Excited.
Don't be.
What the hell are we doing?
Hey baby, wake up from your asleep. We have arrived onto the future and the whole world is become electronic, supersonic, supersonic, electronic. Hey baby, ride with me away. We doesn't have much time.
I don't know what this has to do with Star Trek.
What are you talking about?
Dig it up.
This is the original Star Trek.
Inside tank of fuel is not fuel, but love.
Oh,
Above
this is the
us,
guy that
there is nothing
they put on
above
SETI Alpha
but the
5,
stars
right?
Above.
Wait, you gotta listen to this. This is good.
This is SETI Alpha 5.
4, 3, 1, off blast! Fly away in my space rocket. You no need put money in my pocket. The door is closed, I just lock it. I put my gold plug in your socket.
You couldn't fit lock it in there?
You and me gets higher and higher. Only thing can stop us is flat tire. Hey love crusader, I want to be your space invader. For you I would descend the deepest moon crater. I is more stronger than Darth Vapor. Obey me, I is your new dictator. For you is Venus, I am Mars. With you I is more richer than all the czars. Make a wishes on a shooting stars. Then for you I will play on my cosmic guitars.
Ladies and gentlemen, fasten your belt seats. We has commenced our descent. I trust you enjoy this flight as much as you enjoy this accent.
Now, back on Earth, it's time for down splash. Into sea of eternal glory, my spaceship crash. People have arrived for to cheer me from near and far. And as I float, I open door and shout, I, world's biggest, washed up superstar! Supersonic, electronic, as for sure as the sun rises in the west. All the singers and poets on earth, I am the bestest. Come, let me put the ring of Jupiter on your finger. Then like a smell around you, I will forever linger. Okay, it's time for end, no more will I sing. Let me take you back in time. I want for you to experience Big Bang. Long live space race. Long live Movania.
All right. I claim that's just as good as the Star Trek movie, dude. I don't see any difference. That to me was indistinguishable.
Oh, fuck. It's
What are you talking about?
How dare you,
What are you
sir?
talking about? How dare you, sir?
I didn't see a single lens flare.
Yeah, you know, you're right, actually. That is the problem. Hey, we are joined in studio. This is a very special episode of the BB Live Show. For those of you who don't know, the BB Live Show is a tragedy wrapped in an enigma, tied up in a terrible show bun. It's just nothing more than a toddler beating on a drum. That's all we got going here. We make some noise, we say, look at me, and hopefully you guys look at us. And we are joined in studio by not one, but two universally renowned, complete badasses in the film industry. First of all, to my...
I'm like looking around the studio, and I only see one genuine badass. I see another on the TV, but saying that he's joined in studio.
Okay, no, listen,
is
look.
a bit of a stretch.
Look, you start rolling, the words come out your mouth, you can't keep track, stuff happens. All right, look, this is C. Robert Cargill, Massa Worm, Carlisle, if you watch him on Spill.com. And we've got also joined by Danny TRS, Dan Trachtenberg. How you doing, Dan?
I'm good, dude. How are you?
I'm doing so well. Thank you so much for slumming with us, dude.
Right.
People, and of course, the one people who are always part of the BB Live Show, the inimitable chat room, who wants to know why we can't have one freaking BB Live Show without a beard. And we finally
I think there's an answer in San Francisco, but
Zing.
some of these kids aren't going to want to like it.
No, but it's like usually Justin Robert Young is growing this ridiculously gigantic terrorist beard.
Well, because we're in Austin.
is why?
Austin is the one place in the South that you can actually warrant growing beards that aren't in the winter.
Oh, that's true. Winter beards. So let's check in real quick. Danny TRS saw the latest episode of Totally Rad Show. Loved it as always. And I told Jeff this, but I didn't get an answer out of him. My daughter made a present for you guys, and I need to know where to send it.
Awesome. Send it to there's an address. We'll just send it to. I'll email you my address.
All right, that works for me. That works for me. Oh, you know
say
what? And
okay,
I totally spaced on this.
Before we get too far away from it, can I just say the opening video really reminded me of one of my favorite movies that I may be alone on is the movie Toys. Directed by Levinson.
It's culty. You're in a small group of people, but you are not alone.
No, wait, you're talking about the one with Robin Williams?
Yeah.
I feel like you would like it, Brian, because it's sort of magician-y in a way.
You know what's funny is I was working at a movie theater at this time. This is sort of not fair because I was working at the movie theater when Toys came out, and so I just knew it as that movie that nobody was ever in. And I guess I liked it insofar as I had to clean up a minimum of crap after the show because there was never anything going on.
Awesome.
But now I do remember the beginning of that episode.
Like that video,
the beginning of that movie, they were having a discussion about a new product that was like poop on a rope or something. Is that right?
Yep. That's correct, sir.
Oh, okay. Correct. Well, as long as we got that worked out.
I'm glad you're stressing the high points of the film and just why you are alone in loving it.
I'm just saying is all. Okay, so the subject ostensibly, now I think this is the first, we talked to you before, Dan, but it was just sort of an out of nowhere call out of the blue, wasn't it?
Yeah, totally.
This is your first time actually co-hosting this gig, and ostensibly the show is about this. Today will be about the summer movies, and I figured because you you review movies for Totally Rad Show, and Massa Warren reviews movies for
everybody.
Actually, when you need a movie reviewed, you know who to go to.
If you see it on the internet, I probably wrote it.
Yeah, you had a quote. You had a quote that got put on a giant standee of like some movie coming out, right?
Recently?
No, a while back you were telling me about it. Like, it's in your room.
Actually, yeah, but the one I have in my garage, which is There Will Be Blood.
Oh, no kidding.
I'm actually on There Will Be Blood. It's like this big 8-foot tall thing with him on it and this huge jet of flame, and there's my quote on it. It's like, oh, dude, that's freaking awesome.
That is bad. And is it attributed to Massa Worm? Or?
No, it's attributed to C. Robert Cargill.
Really?
So, yeah.
So
no, the one I got recently was I was quoted on one of the Star Trek ads.
You were?
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
All right, that's pretty cool. That's and get name checked.
I've been reading Massa Worm for a very long time. So it's kind of a
for those of you guys in the chat room, when we got the connection established, the first thing Dan said was, so that's what Massa Worm looks like. Which I thought, I guess that was a compliment-ish. I don't know.
You never know. Am I really some 800-pound gorilla sitting behind here? Am I, like the 10-pound guy with the 300-pound girlfriend?
You carry the weight very well, if indeed that is the case.
What are you trying to say?
I've got nothing. All right, so before we talk movies, and I just want to get this out of the way because there was a moment when I don't want to say I literally leapt out of my chair, Mr. Dan Trachtenberg, but I figuratively leapt out of my chair. And it was, in fact, I went ahead and I downloaded the episode and I saved it just so I could, I don't want to say rub it in your face, but to confront you, to ask you firsthand for an explanation of this,
Too many
sir.
books, too. Snow Crash is Jeff lent that to me. I didn't like it very much, though.
Aha! Did you hear that? Did you hear the offending phrase? Hold on, let me get, for some reason the video didn't take, so I'm going to give it another try here. Oh, you know what? I can't because I've got two instances of VLC open. I'm going to see if that fixes anything.
Basically just fun novels.
Okay, no. Seriously, you did not like Snow Crash?
You know what? I realized error. He lent me Snow Crash. He lent me Cryptonomicon. of which I read the first 10 pages 3 times and could not comprehend what was happening.
So okay, now I'm not going to blame you. I'm not going to blame you for not liking Cryptonomicon, because that was pretty heady, and I can understand it not being your bag. But so what you're saying is your opinion of Snow Crash was?
You know what? I only started reading it, and I never got around. I bought it. I was excited to get into this author because Jeff was always talking about him, and I started reading it, and I enjoyed it. I was at the airport, but I never went back to it. So I don't really have that opinion formed yet.
Dan, I'm going to have to ask for your nerd card before you leave tonight. Snow Crash is kind of essential reading.
Did you, but you enjoyed it, right?
Yeah.
You know, I've read it 3 times now, and the first time I read it, I read it and enjoyed it for what it was. And like a few years ago, I was like, well, everyone says it's, you know, I've got a friend who still hasn't read it because he's afraid he'll have the Neuromancer effect. Now, I don't know if about you guys, but by the time I read Neuromancer, it was all dated. You know, it was very rooted in 80s iconography, and it didn't do anything
You
for
had
me.
to read it in the 80s. You had to be one of those guys that was jumping on the World Wide Web and chuckling about calling it the World Wide Web because that's what it was called in the book.
Right.
What a lot of people don't realize, this book, Neuromancer, a long time ago, from back in the 80s, it coined a lot of the phrases because us early guys, cyberspace, Keyboard Jockey didn't quite stick around all that. Keyboard Cowboy.
Keyboard Cowboy,
Stick
okay.
around quite as much, but the net was another one that was used. A lot of these phrases that we use today that are like throwaway phrases, these are literally phrases that William Gibson
pulled
coined
out of his butt.
and pulled out of his butt, put onto the page, and we stuck with. And to this day, that's what WWW comes entirely from that book. And to sit down and read it, it's not, you know, it's like, yeah, so what? It's called the net. It's called the World Wide Web. What's the big deal?
Right. Well, let me tell you, when I read Snow Crash again, it totally did stand up to the test of time, because there are a few things that are antiquated, like when he goes and describes the metaverse. But let me tell you, the third time I read it was fascinating to me, because the third time I wasn't interested in the technology at all, but it's in this world, we'll say 10, 15 years down the road, when everything is collapsed, there is no law, everything is privatized. You can become they are franchises that are countries you can be a part of. You can have citizenship at Mr. Lee's Greater Hong Kong. You can pay in Uncle Enzo's Pizza Bucks. And every individual neighborhood is an independent city-state. And it was really, the third time I read it, I loved it just for the bizarre, crazy anarcho-libertarianism of it, of just the total crackpot.
Yeah, I don't know any bizarre crackpot libertarians sitting in the room with me. Never met one of those.
But it was funny
We've never
because
sat around downing beer for a week.
I know. I'm dangerously close to getting political here, but let me just say that it does hold up. And if you get a chance, oh my God, what happened to your face?
That just derailed everything. There we go.
You had like an awesome afro going on. That was awesome. I think it has to do with when your face stays in one spot too long. So we'll keep an eye out for that.
Up around a little.
Okay, so by the way, I loved. It was really neat when you were introducing the Welcome to My Home. What's the name of that segment called, by the way? On Tony Rad Show.
Geek Tour Home soon. I have no idea. We'll figure it out.
When it first started, I'm anticipating this total Cribs thing, but in true geek, Totally Rad Show style, it's not really a tour of your house so much as it is a tour of your mind, of touring what you're. I mean that sincerely. I mean, I thought it was really cool the way everything was focused on what you like to consume, how you like to. I don't know. I thought it was great. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
I'm glad you liked it. That's awesome. Yeah, I wish that it looked a little better, and that. I realized when I was done shooting that there were so many other things that I forgot to mention, but it was being very long. So I'm glad you appreciated that. That's very cool.
So you know what? Were you using like a Flip Mino for that?
Basically, not that. A little Kodak thing. It's one of Alex's camera, but basically that kind of thing.
Okay.
So that's why it's shaking and looks really dark and not super
it looks authentic.
Cool.
It looks for reals.
That's what I was thinking. I do need to say, though, about this, not having read Snow Crash or any of that, the kind of nerd I was growing up, for some reason, I wanted to like all this stuff, and I love the worlds of them, but I could never access the material. As in, I owned Neuromancer and I owned A Scanner Darkly, and I would stare at the covers of them, and I would get books about them. I had this like cyberpunk role-playing game book. Never played the game, but
Shadowrun?
Always.
Yeah, was it Shadowrun Saga?
It may have been actually.
Yeah.
That's interesting because I was familiar with Shadowrun when the video game came out, the 360, the newer video game, and it may have been from that. But even the bigger deal is Lord of the Rings. J.R.R. Tolkien in my 6th grade yearbook, my hero, my idol, who I wanted to be with, was J.R.R. Tolkien. I have never, to this day,
ever
read a book of his. I read his biography. I own all of those books. I've read the back cover.
Tell me you saw the movie.
Stared at the images. Yes, I saw the cartoons. But I got all these books about Middle Earth and the art of Middle Earth, and I loved it. But I couldn't frickin' comprehend the words that were on the pages. And that's the same thing. What I'm like with, or what I was like with William Gibson and Philip K. Dick. You know, I had Android's Dream of Electric Sheep. Couldn't get into it, but I loved having that book.
So what you're telling us is that you're not into Dick.
God damn.
What I'm telling you is I really like Dick. I just never get into.
All right, by the way, you know, one of the things, because I've had the same problem. There's a lot of books that I bought and they just sat on my shelf, and I couldn't ever dedicate myself enough time to looking at them. And that's why I'm nuts about the audiobooks, because it forces you to plod forward word by word, and it forces you to listen and hear every single word in the entire story. And that's why I've done Snow Crash both as reading the book and doing the audiobook, which I enjoyed immensely. But cool. Hey, so I don't know if you know this. Did you know that you guys got nominated for what amounts to pretty much a prestigious badass award? Did you know about this?
I'm not sure.
You're like, listen, Brian, we get nominated for a lot of awards. You'll have to be more precise than that.
I saw on our forums that we're nominated for Parsec.
Yes, that's the one I'm talking about. Did you?
What is the Parsec? I don't know. I mean, I know what it is.
I know that I can run the Kessel Run at about 12 parsecs.
It's a unit of measurement, sir, not a unit of time. But
tell that to George Lucas.
I know. Do you know? I felt bad because, like, in the expanded universe books, they actually worked so hard to clean up all of George Lucas's mistakes. They actually wrote this whole folding space-time excuse for why the Kessel Run, like, the faster you ran it, the shorter it actually got. So that's why it was a big deal that he ran the Kessel Run at 12 parsecs. And they spent years. They spent 20 years cleaning up his mess with the ridiculous crap he writes, and then the new books come out, and he just now, or the new movies, he's just like, yeah, books don't mean nothing. So anyway, here's more stupid crap you'll have to fix.
You know what would be awesome? Is if
we went and kidnapped George Lucas and brought him on the show and made him answer for his crimes against our childhood.
No. If one day we saw in the Star Trek TV show or whatever, there's a flashback to that moment, and the name of his ship that he's flying in, whatever it is it's called the 12 Parsec.
Wait. Oh, you mean on Star Trek?
No, Star Wars.
On Star Wars.
He did the Kessel Run in his ship called the 12 Parsec.
And it's like it actually has the Millennium Falcon inside a bigger ship, and the bigger ship is
called 12 parsecs.
It's called Under 12 Parsecs is the name of the ship. All right. See, look, we're fixing his mistakes all over the place. No, I didn't know it because, you know, Scam School got. I'm trying to bring up the website, by the way. I'm trying to find Parsec Awards, but it's not happening. And I'm afraid to end this because I'm afraid it'll kill the actual.
Show?
Yeah, I think it will because I opened it in the same browser that the show's running on, so I'm going to let it sit over there. But apparently the parsecs are a big deal. They have a big award ceremony at Dragon Con, and unlike most online things, it is not a popularity contest. There's no voting, and they actually keep secret who the jurors are. So it's like you have one point of contact that you're allowed to talk to. They don't allow you to connect with anyone else. Oh, wait. Are we frozen? Oh, we're totally fucking frozen. Yeah, hold on.
We're off the air.
Yeah, hold on, let me fix it. Here, go ahead and type them. Tell them that we had a browser crash. That's the first time that ever happened, and it happened on the Revision 3 forums, so that can't be good.
I just remember So You Think You Can Dance starts tonight. Amazing.
Hold on. Let me see if we can get this back up and running.
I freaked the crap out of my wife. Is there something
who's
to
talking?
it out?
Oh, that's one of the other shows.
Actually,
Oh, that's.
I don't want to go into too
hold on,
much
let me pause
detail.
this.
I don't want to go into too much detail because there's been a
Pause it,
but
pause it,
7 or 8 when I was in.
There we go. We should be back on the air now. We're back on the air. Is that right? Is that? Let me ask the folks in the chat room. What do they say? We're
They
back.
said it's Bonnie's fault.
They say it's Bonnie's fault. You know what? It's actually the Revision 3 forums' fault. I've never run into that before. I went and I clicked on the Revision 3 forums, and it totally bonered our whole stream here. So here's what we're gonna do. Now this'll all be on the record of the podcast feed, assuming that VidBlaster doesn't crash. But just in case for the Ustream people, watch this. See, nobody has to know that anything went wrong. We'll just go. There we go. Hold on, we'll just get this back here. Move it right here. There we go. And I'm going to hit record again. And we're back. And nothing went wrong at all. The show's just beginning right now. Those of you watching at BB Live Show, watching the recorded feed, missed absolutely nothing. As I mentioned, we're back here with Dan Trachtenberg and C. Robert Cargill, Massa Worm, and Carlisle. So everything's back, right? Let me check with the chat room. Everything's cool. So we were talking about the Parsec Awards, and I was explaining. Apparently, it's a huge deal. They give the awards out at Dragon Con in Atlanta in was it Labor Day weekend, and apparently, like, it's totally juried. You never get to find out who are the people who are doing the judgings, so you can't get to them.
You can't zombie attack them.
That you can't buy them gifts is what it is. Zombie attack, Massa Worm. But I don't know. Apparently, it's a big deal if you get selected for it. You were nominated in like 8 categories, which is also cool.
We were?
By 8, I mean 3. It was like best podcast, best gaming related podcast, best
Ass
podcast,
and Chaps.
Ass and Chaps podcast.
And who votes on these?
No, just best Ass and Chaps.
It's not a
Dan
voting thing.
got that
It's not
nomination.
yeah, Dan alone. It's not a voting thing. It's only a secret juried bunch of Ubermensch who actually decide what the story is with that. Which I thought
Actually, Massorm, I think Pauly Shore got that for his role in Son-in-Law.
Yeah, but he got it back in the day. You are carrying on the tradition.
You're carrying the tradition, yeah.
All right, you're right.
All right, so look, let's do this. Let's talk about. So anyway, for those of you just joining us, TRS nominated for a Parsec Award along with Scam School. Maybe I'll win one and you guys will win one. That'd be awesome.
And was Spill nominated for anything?
I didn't check.
I don't think
I'll have to check on that for you. What else do we talk about? We talked about Snow Crash is awesome. You do need to read it. And so now let's get on to the real
Some people
meat.
are saying they don't see a video.
Reboot, restart, because we're seeing video right here at BBLiveShow.com. What do we got? So let's talk really quick about. It's so hard to do the show when I'm watching the comments in the chat room because I'm trying to keep track of everything.
I'm being raped in the darkness.
Okay, so by the way, they're talking in the chat room about the drinking game. Do you know we do a drinking game on the show? Do you know about this, Dan?
I heard of it, yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't know the deets.
Well, if you go to BBLiveShow.com, then you can see there we go. You can see there's actually, it gives a phrase, and I don't know what the phrase is, but whatever the phrase is spoken, then you're supposed to drink. And hold on.
Right.
There we go. And our inimitable moderator, Travis Lopez says drinking game at BBLiveShow.com. Post it in the chat room and you get banned. Drink count equals 1. He takes it very, very seriously. So let's talk a bit about movies because that was ostensibly the whole purpose of this thing.
Oh God, why do we have to talk
Talk
about
about the big
film?
I know.
this summer.
Wait, what's that?
Let's talk about the big blockbusters this summer.
Well, that's what I was going to get to because I'm going to start off with my postulate here. I have a postulate. You didn't know that, did you?
I know that you postulated.
That's right. I postulate all over the place.
All over the place.
A postulate is a theory that has no business existing yet. So my postulate is it's pretty much over. There's nothing left for me to get excited about. You know what? The one thing I thought I was supposed to get excited about, I made the mistake of seeing 28% on Rotten Tomatoes for with the because you bastards have both seen Terminator. And I have not. You've seen it, right?
I don't think there's anything left this month I haven't seen.
Okay, and Dan, you've seen it, right?
I have. I mean, it came out today, though. You could have gone today.
It came out midnight last night. What the fuck are you waiting for?
You know what it was? Is I'm waiting. Bonnie and I were going to go see it on Saturday night, and I had a choice to either watch it last night and have no night's sleep because I was in Seattle with my friend Charlie Goff in Seattle. I could have watched it last night at the premiere, but then I would definitely have to see it again on Saturday.
Somebody's telling me to watch my language.
And that's you don't know who you're dealing with, son.
Sorry, fuckers.
But so you can't you can't talk about it until the show comes out, right? Have you already shot the show where you guys reviewed it?
No, we're shooting it tomorrow.
Okay, and on the off chance one of the guys is watching, you probably don't want to talk about it, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't.
Can I say what your advice was? Because that's the significant thing that kind of broke my heart.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting very mixed reviews. I have a very mixed review of it. So.
I wrote you and I was like, look, dude, should I plan on seeing it twice this weekend or only once? And I got back the word only once, frowny face.
But listen, what I didn't communicate to you is it's definitely worth seeing once.
Right.
It's not worth seeing it all, so just see it once. It's worth seeing once. There are great highs and great lows.
Okay.
It's not
Now here's my question to both of you guys. Was it distracting? Did you spend the entire movie wondering if this was the scene that he had a meltdown in the entire time long?
Actually, I had completely forgotten about that.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because I'm one of those guys that the minute the news broke, I read it and said, this is one of the dumbest news stories of the year. It's going to have legs. People are going to talk about it, joke about it, and it's nothing. It's just a meltdown on a set. If you've ever been on a set, if you've ever worked on a film, these happen every goddamn day.
Yeah.
And an actor yelling at a lighting guy, not new, not news. What was great was how creative he was in his destruction of this human being.
Is that like a contest they have once they start slaying people? They start seeing how creatively, because they're clearly being watched, good. And so
he was. I mean, that was some epic ownage. On
you and I,
set.
we are done. We're done professionally.
Oh, yeah.
I will say too. I happen to be a big fan of the cinematographer. I'm so much a fan that I worked with him on a commercial. I was looking forward to working with him because I loved his work in other movies, and he really did deliver with Terminator Salvation. It looks really good.
Okay.
In terms of just the photography.
Well, that's good. Somebody in the chat room is actually pitching District 9, which I had totally forgotten about. I saw the preview for that in Wolverine. I know nothing about it, but the preview blew me away. My guess is you have not seen it yet, right, Dan?
I haven't. Have you, Master?
Wait, you have seen it?
I've not.
Oh, okay. But what about Massa Worm?
No, I don't think anybody's seen it yet. We haven't heard word yet. It's,
okay.
I mean, District 9. The thing you got to know about this is Neil Blomkamp. Is that his name? I don't
even speak Spanish.
No, he is. This is the guy that Peter Jackson was pushing to do Halo, and they really wanted him to do Halo. Jackson producing, him directing, and it didn't get off the ground. The studios wanted a big name. The budgets were swelling too large. No one was convinced it was going to make money, so they scrapped it. They still believe in it. This is the project that Peter Jackson went on to do with Blomkamp. I think that's how his name is pronounced. Pardon me if it's not. They went on to do this, and there's part of me that thinks the whole reason they did this was to prove that they could make a Halo movie together and that it could be successful. So the concept of it is great.
So we're watching a demo reel. The entire movie is a big ruse to be a demo reel.
Well, yeah, but it's also it's a cool concept. It's aliens accidentally land in South America, and we kind of bunch them up and put them into their own kind of ghetto.
Right.
And it's us dealing with this alien race that doesn't want to be here, but who we don't want here.
Right.
And if you see, it seems like it's a longer version of the short film he did called Alive in Joburg. Which the wonderful thing about it is that it seems to be, is it South America or South Africa?
South Africa.
Right, and it seems to be like the short film, which it's just. I mean, I think if you're excited to see District 9, you should definitely see the short film, which you can see on YouTube. It looks like he did a documentary interviewing people about apartheid, political and racial sides in South Africa, and instead of showing clips of them dealing with people, he added special effects and had soldiers fighting aliens, as if it was really going on, as if it was a real sort of political and class situation that they had to deal with.
This is
so instead of people in poverty rioting, it's like aliens, or but not literally that. But so it makes it feel so much more realistic when these people are talking about something that is very real to them, the political climate in the country that they live in, but they're referring to aliens.
So is the original movie, the short film, is that on YouTube?
Yeah, Alive in JOBURG.
Man, I kind of want to watch it right now. How long is it? Is it long enough that it would derail everything to watch it, or?
It's 5 to 10 minutes.
Let's watch it.
Yeah, let's go ahead and watch it. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and look it up here on YouTube. Alive in Joburg.
There it is.
It just popped up. Alive in Joburg. Halo director is what it says. That's kind of funny. Let me pause this here. I'll go ahead and capture this area of the screen right here, and I guess let's see what happens.
When I first landed, we noticed that they had these really fantastic biosuits. But then the apartheid government noticed that these aliens were moving into new areas, and this is when the government started to get tough. This is when things started to get out of hand.
Yeah, the effects are incredible. In the chat room, they're complaining that the YouTube doesn't do the effects justice.
They were captive labor. They were living in conditions that really were not good.
They make people uncomfortable. We don't know what they think, how do they think, what do they do, so they're gonna make us unsafe. Sometimes they'll do things that you don't think they'll do, and then we'll be in trouble.
My name is Constable Bongani Zulu, and I reside in Soweto. I've been in the force for 2.5 years so far.
In our country, we have an Afrikaans minority. Very conservative, very rigid, and living on their fears. And the apartheid government was exploiting this. They were exploiting those fears so that anything that rises up against their institutions, they would just knock down.
I've got a bulletproof vest. Yeah, you just to protect the major people, they can come and hijack the route. Yeah, I'm carrying firearms.
You try and sleep at night, you hear this strange sound hovering above your house. And sometimes the kids cannot even sleep. They cry, Daddy, Daddy, something. You go out to see these strange things.
I'll tell you, the thing is with the ships, you're talking about vehicles that are sort of a kilometer in length, some of them. They are completely dilapidated, completely ruined. You've got like a 747, or you've got, a major commercial airliner trying to use the main route into Rand Airport or Lanseria Airport or to Johannesburg Airport. They've literally had to change some of the air routes to accommodate these illegal vehicles.
Ek dink hulle is nie goed nie, want wat van hulle hier kom is dit al die rypere en die moord en die goede. Ek dink.
And they had these cables that went into our ground and into our main supplies, like water and electricity, and these cables connected again with their ships. And like they were sucking out the water and the electricity.
Catch a free ride on a train, on top of the train. You know, at this electric power, you can easily die there, but they don't. It's like a normal life to them.
It looked as if things are stabilizing, but it's really impossible to tell. I just hope that we will be able to create a standard of living that will be equal and equitable for all in this country.
Dude, that is freaking awesome. I'm a little bit blown away. I gotta admit.
Well, that's pretty much what the movie we'll be seeing here
I am
later this summer.
so unbelievably stoked about this because I don't know if we've ever talked. I was a tremendous fan of V, tremendous fan of Alien Nation, both the original movie with, was it James Caan? Was he in?
Yeah.
Wow. And the television
As
series.
Sykes.
Sergeant Shithead. But the television series I thought was exceptional as well. I am so unbelievably excited. I also love it. It also reminds me of like Primer. It's got elements of that total low budget sci-fi action. The authenticity of it. I don't know. I'm on a scale of 1 to 10. My hype meter has now been bumped up to 10. What say you, Dan Trachtenberg?
Well, yeah, I mean, I just want to say that is why he got Halo, was because Peter Jackson and other people saw that and got as excited as you just got. And yeah, I think this is probably the thing I'm most excited for. Now that I saw Brothers Bloom a couple weeks ago, which we're going to talk about in a second, Brian.
Oh my God! I wish I had a time machine to go see it in time for this discussion, because since I saw the trailer for that, I've been stoked about that movie. But you saw it and loved it.
Yeah, I can't think of a movie. It has to become at least in your top 5 favorite movies of all time.
Really?
I would be shocked if it's not in there.
Well,
really?
he was talking to you.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
But I mean, that's saying something to say that it's going to cut straight to your heart and bump off Aliens from the list.
It's pretty up there. I mean, it's pretty awesome. The great thing about it is that I mean, I wish to God everyone could see it with Rian Johnson, because he came out. We had a screening at Fantastic Fest last year, and it was literally one of those things where he comes out to give his opening thing. What is going on here?
Somebody's trying to call. There you go.
Oh.
Shut it down.
He comes out and sets up the film. And what you need to know about the film is he made a con man movie that isn't going to con the audience. The point to it is that he doesn't want to con you. He's not setting you up so he can pull the rug out from under you. It's a movie about con men.
Interesting.
And so you're not going to be at the end feeling cheated or snowed or having seen something different than you went in to see. It is exactly what it presents itself to be the whole time.
And Dan, would you agree with that, or you think that's crazy talk?
I don't know. I mean, I think there's a degree that and I think everyone, knowing that it's a con man film, regardless of his intentions, you sort of watch the movie, you know that there's the conventions of the genre, so you're waiting to see, you're not sure if what you're seeing is the truth, or are you being conned, or what. There's sort of the second narrative, I think, going on underneath that movie, or any con movie, and I think this of horror films as well, because we know how horror films work, so we're, in a horror film, we're also wondering, are we being led down this path because they want me to think this, or is this a genuine thing that I should believe, and but there's an attention to that so that we are going through the right emotions at the right time. By the filmmakers.
Do you feel like they play with you in that regard? Like they know all the conventions and they know you think they're using the conventions and they use that against you, or
not that it's being used against you, but it can't help but be in that discourse between the viewer and the story, knowing that these people lie about what they do. You're never quite sure if what you're seeing is a lie, is there's an overall lie to it, or within the story or within the thing he's telling one person. I mean, it's kind of hard to talk about with not getting the specifics.
I know. It's like I don't want to ruin any movies or whatever. Okay, so
but it's like watching a magic trick, knowing that there's something wrong up front with the trick, right? I mean, the magician's job is to say nothing's wrong up here up front. This is all the normal. The trick is in the end. But we all kind of know that, okay, going along the way, there's got to be something up with it, and you can't help but be trying to figure that out.
All right, well, let's do this real quick because I want to assess where we are in the summer blockbuster season. And first of all, I am super impressed and stoked about how much sci-fi is in the summer's lineup. It's like week after week, it's X-Men Origins, and then it's Star Trek, and then it's
Angels and Demons.
You're right.
Dude,
it is
they
sci-fi.
put an antimatter bomb in the middle of the Vatican.
They totally did. You're absolutely correct. Which I don't want to admit them into my cool excitement club, but in District 9, all this other stuff. Okay, so of what's come out so far, yeah, exactly, including Terminator coming out today. Or last night, whenever. But who's the current leader in your awesome movie awards to date so far? Cardinal.
Well, I mean, come on, Star Trek.
Yeah, really?
Star Trek
more than so you like Star Trek much more than Brothers Bloom?
Oh yeah, no. Star Trek is the movie I'm in love with. Now this is an incredible month. I mean, this month alone, like next week is the single best weekend of the year. There are going to be 3 films. All of them incredible.
What's coming out next week?
We've got Brothers Bloom Goes Wide. We've got Up from Pixar.
Oh, so it's only in limited release right now.
It's only in limited release.
Okay, well, I don't feel bad that I haven't seen it.
It goes wide on Friday.
Up from Pixar. I forgot all about
Up from
that.
Pixar. And then on top of that, we've got Drag Me to Hell, the new Sam Raimi film, which is awesome.
Is it awesome?
My God.
Or is it Sam Raimi awesome?
Dude, we had so much fun with
What's
this movie.
Sam Raimi awesome? What is that?
Well, okay,
it's a special level of awesome is what it is.
Like for example, you've got to what was
Jim
it? Jason.
Thing. Let me just say that Jim Thing can suck my wang because the movie is freaking awesome.
Okay, but listen. I've got to warn you because I don't know. If you sit someone down and show them Army of Darkness and say this is the greatest movie ever, that phrase has a lot of different connotations.
But Army of Darkness is a special level of campy.
Right.
There's
no camp. It's just straight up.
No. There's camp.
Okay.
But it's a horror comedy that's really funny.
Right.
It's really got a lot of heart to it. It's really a scary film.
Well,
there's a lot of gross outs.
Here's what I'm saying. If you tell me it's Sam Raimi awesome, I have my brain programmed correctly to receive this film. Right.
But you're thinking of the Sam Raimi awesome where he makes these deliberately cheesy B movies.
Right.
This is him more making an A-style B movie. It's really a lot of
By the way,
fun.
did you see the Bruce Campbell movie that he directed? The one that was it?
They Call Me Bruce?
It's not. No, My Name is Bruce. That's what it is. They Call Me Bruce is the one from the 80s.
That's
the
right.
kung fu. Did you see that, Dan?
I watched on Netflix, and I wish I hadn't. I don't even want to talk about it. I feel bad. I just was upset by it.
What were you upset by? It was self-deprecating. Well, did you read?
But it wasn't very good.
No, it wasn't very good.
Yeah.
But you know what? It was very much in the same vein as he did a book that he released as an audio book. What was it? The Bruce Campbell How to Make Love the Bruce Campbell Way.
Bruce Campbell Way.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of that in this total clearly digging on himself, but in a way where the character him is totally unaware he's being dug on the whole way. I don't know. I enjoyed it. I thought it was stupid. But
If
fun.
I could take a sidetrack from
Okay, go ahead.
The chat room is abuzz with something that is actually a pet peeve of mine right now.
Go on.
Look, I love the geek atmosphere. I'm really pissed about this PG-13 thing right now, about everybody whining and crying about PG-13 movies. Oh my God, they made Terminator PG-13. That's not really Terminator.
Yeah.
Oh my God, and somebody saying, oh, well, this movie can't be good. It's a horror film that's PG-13. The scariest movie of this decade, the movie that scared the most freaking adults.
The Sixth Sense?
No, that was last decade. That was 99.
Oh my God! No!
10 years
I am
ago,
not that
dude.
old.
You were that old.
No!
You just dropped a name 10 years ago, brother.
No!
Yes. No, the scariest movie of this decade, The Ring, was PG-13.
Oh, that's pretty good.
All you need to scare people is mood. You don't need blood and guts to scare people. What you need is good storytelling. And if you can tell a good story, then it doesn't matter what your rating is. It can be PG for all I care. As long as the story's good and you know how to scare me. It does not need to be rated R. This convention that this film has to be adults only to be good is fucking infantile. It's really retarded.
Listen to this. They're all screaming for and against your head. So
good, because argue it, but go. No,
Sorry.
please, Dan, jump in.
Well, what I was gonna say is I think the people arguing about this PG-13 versus R stuff are also holding on to their memories of what a PG-13 versus an R movie is today.
Well, and it has clearly changed. We're not looking at Red Dawn anymore.
Different.
You know, I mean, Red Dawn comes out oh, it's PG-13, so naughty.
Jaws is rated PG.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
But it's got nudity and blood because back in the 70s, PG meant parental guidance. It meant you don't go.
Jaws is R.
No, it's PG.
The first
Jaws is
I wasn't
PG,
allowed
brother.
to see.
Jaws is R. I'm almost certain.
No, look it up, brother.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. We got to smack down. Let's go to chat room.
Jaws 2.
Is
Jaws 2 I was allowed to see because it wasn't R.
Oh my God, they're saying yes. Jaws is PG.
Jaws is rated PG, my man. 1970s PG is what we consider PG-13 or R today at times.
But I think what we were talking about is now versus back in the day. What passes for PG-13 back in the day. I think a lot of what is given a PG-13 today would have been given an R back in 1986.
Return of the King. There is a scene where they lob severed heads over the wall, but it's got a PG-13. I mean, and nobody really freaked out. Nobody's like, oh my God, it's severed heads. A single severed head would have gotten you an R rating in the 80s.
My daughter lobs severed heads all the time.
Well, yeah, but that's because her daddy hammers nails up his nose.
All right. Okay, so back to the question. So far, the contest so far, clearly you say Star Trek, and you said, what, Daniel Trachtenberg?
Well, you know what I actually want to say? What are you movies we've seen so far?
Of the releases so far, the horse race for best movie of this summer, and let me tell you, not since 1999 have I seen a summer like this. I've seen so many.
Well, last summer was really good too.
What were the highlights of last summer?
Oh, just things like The Dark Knight and Tropic Thunder, Pineapple Express. What else? We had a whole series of stuff. We had Iron Man. We had The Incredible Hulk.
Iron Man was last summer.
Iron Man was last summer.
Okay, all right.
And Sixth Sense was 10 years ago.
Okay,
we need to get you a calendar.
But let me tell you. The reason I'm thinking about 1999 is because you had The Sixth Sense, you had the Matrix, you had Fight Club,
Iron Giant.
You had 99 was such an amazing year.
American Beauty.
Yeah, dude. Okay. So you're with me that 99 was something
99
special.
was something special. 97, 94,
and this is special.
82.
Right.
This and last summer we had Hellboy 2 last summer, which I really like.
I didn't see Hellboy 2. I did finally watch Hellboy 1 though. We got people wanting to pipe in on this, so let's do this. Let's do make your vote of so far in the horse race for this summer. Best. So you say Star Trek, Dan?
So between Star Trek, Angels and Demons, and Terminator.
Oh, don't forget Wolverine.
And Wolverine, which is the best movie of those,
and Brothers Bloom, which you were just freaking out about.
Have you seen Up or Drag Me to Hell yet?
Brothers Bloom is not a best movie of the summer. Brothers Bloom is best movie I've seen in my life. But Brothers Bloom is going to be up there for me in my favorite movies. It's not like I don't even equate it with the summer movie. It's hard to even weigh that in.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So clearly, you would say in the face off between Brothers Bloom and Star Trek, Brothers Bloom victorious is what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I would say that Brothers Bloom is better than Face Off.
I wouldn't really compare them.
Yeah, I want to know which would do better, Star Trek or Face Off. Yeah.
Gee, am I Nicolas Cage or am I?
You can't even sell that, dude.
Even sell it.
You can't even pretend.
I do want to say though,
and that destroyed Nicolas Cage forever.
Wait, I'm sorry. What were you saying, Dan?
I want to say, because that we strayed from it, about District 9. I think that has the potential to be the big deal, the thing that really ignites the zeitgeist of our time for right now.
Can I make a prediction?
Definitely the Cloverfield torch, but I think kind of what Borat did last year or 2 years ago, whenever that was,
2006, 3 years ago.
See,
nobody.
This is what I deal with. Now you know what it's like. It's like this all the time. Yeah. Keep going.
Whatever Borat did for comedies, it's like, wow, I haven't even seen a movie like that. I think that's what District 9 could do. It might not, I don't know. But I think it's going to be a really...
Can I make a prediction? Because tied into this, in production right now, is the reboot of one of the nearest and dearest franchises of my childhood, V, because they're remaking V
for television, yeah.
And there's talk about it being, the new Battlestar Galactica, and
a trailer.
Is there a trailer out?
You just released a trailer yesterday.
What? Okay. No way.
Did you see me point behind me as if, I can point to yesterday because I have a time machine back there? I can
yesterday. Okay. It's behind Danny TRS today.
Okay, hold on. I need a link. Let's go to the chat room. Can you guys PM me a link to the V trailer? Because I maybe I'm alone here, Danny.
First one to drop a link gets a shout out.
But let me tell you, dude, freaking V was the most. I watched it. I watched it when it came out.
Oh,
and then
we got a link.
Okay, all right. I watched it when it came out. This is not at all. No! Is that what I think it is? No!
Wow.
Is that really what I think it is? What do you think of that?
Is that Avatar: The Last Airbender that somebody linked us to?
Yeah.
Fucking kids in their goddamn anime.
No.
I just love messing with people. I wanted to see who would melt down, and Brian melted down.
What the fuck? That's
awesome.
You don't. Not even in jest. Not even in jest.
My friend, in jest.
Have you watched Avatar: The Last Airbender?
I have not.
Well, guess what? You're
my
going
pubes
home.
Grew in.
You're going to go home with a copy of it. Look. I used to have your illness, and I was cured. I was saved by the light by this guy right here. Go, talk.
I love the chat room's going nuts.
They're exploding.
I love yanking cranks. It's just so much fun. They're just like, gah, nerd rage.
Okay, all right, Dan, set them straight. Go.
Yeah, here's the deal, dude. Wait, let me ask you this: are you into? Did you get into Buffy or? Buffy?
No, I'm actually an anti-weed nut.
Oh, whatever. Look, you have Buffy commemorative plates.
I can't.
No.
Not even
You're
Firefly?
confusing me with our other friend, Chris.
Oh, wait, you didn't like Buffy?
I don't like Buffy or Angel. I love Firefly, but I hate Buffy and Angel.
Right. Okay, but you had Buffy commemorative plates in your house. Is that not true?
Those were his.
Yes, but they were in your house.
I did not approve of them.
Okay. Anyway, Buffy commemorative plates. Go.
Well, here's the deal with it. You assume, like I did, that it's a cartoon for kids. That's like saying The Simpsons or Family Guy. Oh, that's a cartoon. The cartoons are for kids. Interesting that I bring that up because the guys who created the show and write the show wrote Family Guy. Wrote some of the best episodes of Family Guy, season 1.
Wait. The guys from Avatar were involved?
No, he's talking about Buffy.
Oh, with Buffy.
No,
Okay.
talking about Avatar.
No. Freaking awesome.
Avatar.
Okay, go on.
Avatar is not a show for kids. Kids can enjoy it. Kids can watch it.
I was totally kidding the whole time.
Look, dude, you opened the freaking torrent. You twisted the gate open. You're gonna get covered in it. So here it comes.
I have opened hell.
You just lay back and let it wash over you, sir. Keep going.
Avatar is a story that's a classic mythological journey, like stories you may enjoy called Star Wars and Lord of the Rings.
Oh, those all suck.
Okay, right. Okay. No, okay. Listen.
I don't know who likes those.
If I may.
Sorry.
Well, what I was going to say is, if I may, for comparison, and there are people who, for example, for me, the big turning point in anime was watching Cowboy Bebop. There was I liked anime movies, a few of them, if they were really good, but by and large, I didn't have a lot of tolerance for the weekly animes until Cowboy Bebop came along, and it blew me away with its style and the slickness of the production. And by the time that story arc was over, I felt like I had experienced as rich and as detailed a story as any novel I'd ever read in my life, right? I had the exact same experience, possibly even better, with Avatar, because it's a bigger, longer story with a more detailed, subtle story arcs. I'm actually I'm halfway through my second lap of watching all 60, however many episodes of it.
So can I pull your pubes out with the pliers now? Can I?
Well, clearly I don't have any.
Well, no. Let me. The reason I'm not excited about this movie, the reason I'm kind of putting it on reserve or joking around,
is because of M. Night Shyamalan.
M. Night Shyamalan.
Dude, here's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that he's eaten his humble pie because he's a fan. He's got his kids and they love the story. My hope is that he's like, all right, time to act like a grown-up. And this is the first time he's taking somebody else's IP and he said he's going to be dedicated to the source material. But I'm hoping he's competent. He's got skills.
Yeah, except that he's got this slope that he is slowly going down.
Because he's been allowed to. But now the adults are in charge and he's being told to do it and do it right. I hope so.
But
too.
I watched the making of The Happening. And he was literally like, all right, we're going to get this done in 2 shots. Let's go. Let's do it 2 shots. Get it in 2 shots. It's fine. And you watch that movie, and it looks like they shot the whole fucking thing in 2 shots at a time.
All right.
He's almost come to rest on his laurels like, I am so good. I can get this done in 2 shots and do it justice.
No, you're right. It may be a tragedy, but that does in no way curtails my excitement for the possibility of awesomeness. Is that where you're sitting, Dan?
Well, I was getting very excited telling... Mass Carlisle, sorry.
Mass Carlisle is how we're going to call it from now on.
Carlisle is just that's a name on another site. You can call me Massa Worm, you can call me Cargill.
About the show, the cartoon. Because, and let me just continue on by saying first, because everyone should realize this who hasn't seen the show, it's not anime, technically. It's an American show. And
right,
the animation is done in Korea.
Right.
So it's not this Japanese show that is appealing to American audiences. It's an American show. Not that there's anything wrong with it. It's wrong with stuff. I'm just saying, if you think that there's going to be a cultural divide between you and the show, that isn't there. It has some of the funniest moments I've ever seen in a TV show. It has some of the best action sequences I've ever seen in a TV show.
The fight choreography is what sells it for me. It is a form of martial arts that we have never experienced in the history of cinema. I mean, is that too much to say, Dan? You think I'm overstating that?
I do, but it makes me is that.
Well, but okay.
Wait, can you repeat that?
He said that the fact that it makes me feel that way is significant enough, and we're starting to have a little trouble with your Skype connection. But
I didn't know you spoke stutter.
I do indeed.
You speak jive too?
Okay, I speak jive. Okay, so let me do this. Again, we have recursive branches, and we're trying to get back to one of the previous branches. We were talking about District 9. Apparently, this is the District 9 show, and we keep coming back to it. So here's what I'm thinking in regards to District 9, and we'll talk more about Avatar later. But here's what I'm hoping is that District 9 is wildly successful, and that it positively impacts this property right here.
What was that?
Tyler, do you feel that? Tyler!
Mom?
Stay where you are! I'm coming for you!
God.
Where's Will Smith? I don't see Will Smith anywhere.
Since their arrival, there's been no contact with any of the 29 ships now hovering over the major cities of the world.
Sergeant, I'm
FBI. I'm looking for my son.
Everybody is looking
my
for their
son.
Don't be frightened. We mean no harm. Calling themselves the visitors.
Dude, that is so cool. The world's in bad shape, Father. Who wouldn't welcome a savior right now?
They healed me, and I got no pain.
It's amazing.
It's been 3 weeks since the visitors' arrival, yet thousands are still flocking to see the motherships in person.
Welcome to the New York mothership. My name is Lisa.
We're all so quick to jump on the bandwagon, but before we get on, let us at least examine it.
They've been printing fake docs, passports, IDs. They cleared out like they knew we were coming.
Ryan, please.
Look, I told you I'm not that guy anymore, okay? Stop calling me.
We need your help.
I want him.
Anna would like you to do the interview.
But that's the danger. Gratitude can morph into worship.
They say that you two are obsessed with the V's.
You know what, the V's? They call it spreading hope.
Do you have any questions before we go to air?
Just be sure not to ask anything that would paint us in a negative light.
Excuse me?
I know the real reason they're here, Father, and I am not the only one.
We're honored and privileged to be able to assist mankind with our knowledge and technology.
They've been implementing a plan that will result in the extermination of every man, woman, and child.
If you could speak to the protesters, what would you say?
That embracing change is never easy, but the reward for doing so can be far greater than anything you can imagine.
They gain trust with the promise of friendship. And of course, all they're really doing is positioning themselves as the saviors of mankind.
They're arming themselves with the most powerful weapon out there.
What's that?
Devotion.
What do we do now?
We'll fight.
Dude.
I didn't see Mark Singer. I didn't see Will Smith. I don't know what to make of this thing, man. I have
Can I say I had a total emotional roller coaster watching that because the first 30 because we watched the Alive in what is it Djibouti?
Joburg.
Right.
Live in your booty.
No, Djibouti is a real place. But Alive in wherever. And we watched the District 9 precursor, and it had me like totally blown away, right? And then I watched the first 30 seconds of this V trailer, and I was totally like, "Ew, childhood." But what gives me hope? Oh man, what gives me hope is that what was a giant twist halfway through the original series is given away in the trailer right in the beginning.
Except if you didn't, we would be sitting here going, come on, everyone and their brother knows what the twist to V is.
Exactly.
You cannot build a show around that anymore.
Exactly, which is why that gives me hope, because the fact that they're not trying to make obviously that's not going to be the twist. Obviously, or if there is a twist, the fact that they're acknowledging that gives me faith and hope in it. And I liked the rhetoric that's very pertinent to our current situation. I hope that what was great about the original V is that it was all a metaphor about World War II. I hope they don't try to wrap it up in, I don't know, who knows, maybe they'll take it in a quirky terrorist space or something with Americans.
I would put money on it.
Americans are the suicide bombing terrorists or something.
But can we ask the big question?
What's that?
Anybody guessing that Juliet's not going to make it back next season?
on Lost? On Lost? Well, I guess
or Sawyer.
Oh, is Sawyer on V as well?
No. Sawyer and well, you know, I don't want to say.
For
those of you that are like, don't talk about TV shows. I haven't watched 3 seasons back.
Okay, all right, no, that's fine. All right, so Dan, had you?
I was gonna say too.
Had you seen that trailer before? I said, had you seen that? Had you seen that V trailer before?
Yesterday, I remember.
Yesterday, back behind us.
But Inara, played by Morena Baccarin from Firefly, is the lead in this. Who in Firefly is probably the hottest girl in television, in my opinion.
Wait, that was the same chick who was sitting in the chair saying, "Don't ask any questions." That's that's not the sexy prostitute. No,
Dan, we're gonna go to the mat. we're going to have to go to the mat on this because one of the sexiest women on television is not Anara. It was the engine room girl from
Kaylee?
Firefly. It was Kaylee. Come on, tomboy chicks, man.
All right.
Nerd girls.
She's cute.
She is cute, but
hot?
Okay,
No.
one of those girls is actually a model in real life. Guess which one?
Yeah, you know what? Am I the only one who was kind of bummed? I was a little bit. I was a little bit bummed in Serenity to see that Jewel State whatever Kaylee had lost so much weight for going into.
No, that was the thing about the show was she actually was able to gain weight to be on the show.
But
they had
in
her
the
gain 20 pounds.
But in the movie, she was not the same shape she was in. She had lost. She was way cuter and or way more traditionally attractive. Traditionally. Okay, so back to my theory that District 9, a successful District 9 over the summer, could positively impact a rebirth of V. Do you have any enthusiasm? You don't think so? You're not buying this at all?
No, I see a lot of potential. I think bad or terrible. I mean, it could be good or terrible. I don't know. I don't know which. I mean, we had that show Invasion, which I didn't get into.
Yeah, I didn't either.
And it could be that show.
Well, but that show was trying to be lost. That was the problem with Invasion.
Yeah. Who's behind this, actually? I should look that up. Who's behind the...
that I'm not 100% sure of. I know ABC's putting it on.
But the chat room, as always, the chat room is feeding us the answer instantly. They're saying V's done by the guys who did 4400, which I never saw. Did you watch that?
Heard that's great.
I hear it's good too. I haven't seen it. And the chat room.
Oh, dude! Not only that, but Wash is in V. It looks like as well. Very interesting.
Wash is?
Yeah, I'm guessing. Yeah. I saw his name in the credits, and I was like, dude, he's totally gonna be playing the vegetarian role. He's gonna be playing the Robert Englund role. He has to.
Oh my
they
gosh,
have to make
you're right.
him the V
he's
that's
gonna
vegetarian.
be the
turncoat.
What's his name? What was the name of his character? It wasn't Eddie. It was
I forget. It was 25
Ernie
years
or
ago.
something. Dude, I've watched that. You have no idea. I watched V so many times. It's ridiculous. I used to know all that stuff.
Oh, somebody's saying he'll probably die in the first episode. I don't know. He doesn't have anything else going on.
By the way, can we talk real quick for 2 seconds about Dollhouse before we move forward here? Are you
in the last 3 episodes.
Oh, you haven't seen the last 3 episodes?
I haven't seen a single episode.
All right, well, that's okay. Then none of this will mean anything to you. But Dan, did you say you have or have not seen the last 3 episodes?
I've not seen the last 3 episodes.
Okay, then I will, because I love you, dude, and this is a big deal because I really wanted to talk about this, but that's okay. I will not say anything about what happens in the last 3 episodes. You know that
Are they worth watching?
What's that?
Watching?
Oh, totally. Last 3 episodes is where everything gets super interesting. So, you haven't seen Wash show up with a minor role in the show.
I think I did actually. I may have.
I don't think you
Maybe
did.
I saw him in the teaser.
I think if I asked that question, you would have responded.
All right.
It was Willie.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was Willie. It was the name of the guy.
England.
Yeah, but
Thank you, chat room.
I think you would have known if you'd seen the episode with watching it. So okay, so let's talk about this. By the way, they're complaining in the chat room that the drink count is too low. You know what? I'm looking over at the other computer, and it looks like
2.
The drink words are. Oh, it doesn't have the. Oh, blockbuster. There we go. Get drunk. Okay, good.
Really? That was the word, blockbuster?
It was.
I think someone's phone's vibrating.
Oh,
One
my
of your
God.
guys' is vibrating.
I used to actually work at Blockbuster a long time ago.
Oh, did you? When you worked at Blockbuster, what was your opinion about all the Blockbuster movies that Blockbuster had?
Well, they had some pretty crappy Blockbuster movies, but
Yeah.
Blockbuster pays for shit.
Yeah. So okay.
You know, I didn't work at Blockbuster, but I did work at Suncoast.
So we all worked. So you worked in
the drink count is now gone.
The drink count is gone. Okay. Next time, the drinking word is going to be amphibians. I'm being told. Okay, so
everybody's telling us it's 12 now.
Okay, so nobody enthusiasm for V.
I think it's going to be a Blockbuster.
Dan, what say you, sir?
If the showrunners were some, I'd be like the mediocre trailer could be good, could be a good show. But because the showrunners don't seem to have done anything that I've been into, in fact, they've done some pretty I've distinctly had not liked.
Right.
I'm thinking it could be bad.
You know what? I've got a little 8-year-old Brian inside my soul that really I'm willing
I've got
to give
one
it
in my trunk.
That's I knew you were gonna say that, dude. Okay, so back to the summer. So we've covered what we've got so far. I can't believe we saw the V trailer, and I didn't know it was ABC. For some reason, I was thinking it was going to be another sci-fi channel kind of thing. That's kind of cool.
No, it's mainstream. It's up there. So we'll see. You know what? To be honest, I have no idea. I'm curious. I loved it as a kid. You loved it as a kid, but we watched it as kids.
I watched it again as adults. No, I watched the entire series
but
from
we
the
had
beginning
that attachment. Notice that our parents didn't stay in the room whenever we watched it.
No, actually, you know what? Mine did. That was the cool thing.
Oh, mine
That's why
always went into another room and watched something else.
Well, because they would explain that the whole recruiting of the kids and a youth corps and stuff. I'm in second grade. I don't know that this is World War II.
You do come from that libertarian family.
Well, you're always throwing that in my face.
What do you mean? I come from a Republican Christian upbringing, watching lizards on TV. Not exactly what we'd like to be watching.
Okay, let's talk about the movies that haven't come out yet that you guys have probably already seen. You know what? Let's do this. Let's take a little break here. Let's go ahead and open up the phones for about 5 minutes. Anything we've talked about so far? So far, we've covered the past movies up to this moment, and we watched the V trailer. We talked about District 9. If you want to chime in on any of those, Avatar especially, feel free to call in and lecture this guy at length about Avatar. This guy, is this the caller who's called nonstop the entire show long?
My name's Duke Nukem.
Oh, crap. You got balls of steel, Duke Nukem? Hey, Duke Nukem, what's your opinion about the V trailer?
Blow it out your ass.
Okay, thank you, Duke Nukem. And there he goes. Okay, we got somebody.
Dude, we had the real live Duke Nukem call.
Can you believe that?
What are the odds? Incredible.
By the way, don't call on the Skype line because we've got Danny T on the Skype line. But if you want to call an OOVOO, OOVOO, we're BB Live Show is our ID over there.
Of those.
That's indeed. They love the Duke Nukem in the chat room. So let's do this. Last chance. You want to call on in at 866-462-4424.
It's been ringing all good night.
Yep, of course.
And now you're like, call in, and we're staring at the phone. I feel like a girl on Friday. I've washed my hair, and now the phone won't ring.
By the way, in the chat room they're talking about how the Cowboy Bebop live action movie has been announced, which that's a whole nother can of worms we'll talk about later on.
Keanu Reeves.
But with Keanu Reeves, which I don't know how who knows. We got somebody on the line though. Who do we got on the line? Going once, going twice. Going nowhere. Okay, let's do this. We're going to take a short break, and we'll come back and we'll talk about the rest of the summer. Is there anything you want to say before we take a little break here, Danny TRS?
No, not before the break.
Oh, wait, we do have one person. Oh, hold on. I didn't ask you, mister. Hold on. Hey, you're on the... you're on the... I know better. Yeah. All right, let me... who do we got on the line?
Am I on?
Yeah, you're on, buddy. What's up?
Hey, it's Jimmy Thing from the chat room.
It's who?
Jimmy Thing from the chat room.
Jimmy. Hey, what's going on, Jimmy? You got you want to chime in on this business so far?
Yeah, well, I want to talk about the V trailer. I have hope. I'm kind of sad it's on ABC. I think it would have been better suited for sci-fi, maybe.
You know, I was actually disappointed as well when I saw the ABC logo. For some reason, I thought...
Why? Do you not watch Lost?
I do love Lost.
Lost is the best thing on television right now, and that's ABC.
What's funny is I actually had the, oh, darn, it's ABC. And then I had the same thing. I thought, wait, ABC gave us Lost, so maybe, that doesn't change it.
Yeah, everything else is Desperate Housewives, but...
I think ABC is more likely to pull it, though, where sci-fi would probably give it a couple seasons to develop.
Yeah, I mean, that is true. It takes less to score a hit on sci-fi that keeps them
interested. That's because the bar is set so
low.
Or
it was before.
There's great stuff up there, but let me tell you, it's not all Battlestar.
Right. Hey, did you notice that all the gender roles have been reversed? The leader of the Visitors is a woman.
The leader of the Visitors was a woman in the...
No. She was the second in command.
We've seen that work with other recent sci-fi remakes. Look at Starbuck. I mean, Starbuck was a...
Right, they did the same thing. They did gender reversal. Well, anyway, we'll get into that later. But
then there's that Chicks with Dicks movie you wanted to show me later.
God damn it! It took about 5 seconds. All right. Thanks so much, caller.
Thanks for having me on the show, guys.
All right, you got it, man. Look, we're gonna take a short break for one of these things right here, and we'll be back, and we'll talk about the upcoming stuff from this from this upcoming summer.
In constant sorrow through his day. I am the man of constant sorrow. I've seen trouble all my day. I bid farewell to old Kentucky, the place where I was born and raised, the place where he was born and raised.
So that's what you me at the bleachers, the principals, no student teachers. Both of us wanna be the winner, but there can only be one. So I'm gonna fight, gonna give it my all, gonna make you fall, gonna suck it to you. That's right, I'm the last one standing, and never one bites the dust.
6 long years I've been in trouble. No pleasure here on earth I find. In this world I'm bound to ramble. I have no friends to help me now. He has no friends to help me
Few times I've been around that track, so it's not just gonna happen like that. 'Cause ain't no holler back, girl, ain't no holler back, girl. Few times I've been around that track, so it's not just gonna happen like that. 'Cause ain't no holler back, girl, ain't no holler back, girl.
It's fare thee well, my old true lover. I never expect to see you again. For I'm bound to ride that northern railroad. Perhaps I'll die upon that train. Perhaps you'll die upon this train. You can bury me in Sunny Valley for many years where I may reign. And you may learn to love another while I am sleeping in my grave, while he is sleeping in his grave.
All right. We've got somebody, hang on, let me go and pay this down here. We got somebody calling in here like crazy. Somebody from the 916 area code. I'm kind of tempted to call them back. They've called so many times. Let me do this. Did you make a run for the border, Dan Trachtenberg?
Right here.
No, I mean, like, did you take advantage of the break to a bio break, is what I was going to say.
I did.
Yeah, that's between you and me. I don't know if you noticed, we don't really have any sponsors on this show, so when we take a break, it's not for commercial medicine messages.
You have a sponsor. Her name is Bonnie.
That's right, Bonnie the Invisible Wife. Hey, caller, you're on the air. What's up, buddy?
Hello?
Hey, you're on the air. What's up?
Hey, this is David Chen from SlashFilm.com.
Hey, it's SlashFilm.com.
Oh.
You know these guys.
By reputation. I've never actually had a chance to meet this guy.
Well, but like Danny was actually on Slash Film. I only know them by reputation as well. This is the first time.
I don't think they like me.
Do you guys hate Massa Worm? Do you guys not like him?
Massa Worm is so the man, it's not even funny.
Dude!
Wow.
Listen to that!
I am the man, apparently.
Actually, you guys are all kind of the man simultaneously.
We are men.
Are we the men? Is it raining men all of a sudden? Oh my God.
All right. So this is such a delight. What a treat. I did not expect an actual qualified opinion to call in. So talk to us. How much have you caught so
What
far?
did you say about everyone else calling in?
What's that? Well, I'm just saying, there's the people and then there's the aristocracy, and to have a fellow blue blood call in with his sanctioned opinion, it's a big deal. And so talk to us. What did you hear? What we were talking about so far? Are we just so full of BS that you're just wanting to punch us? Because I would, if I were a professional who knew something and I heard some jackass, flapping his gums like me.
First of all, let me say, Brian, your self-deprecating attitude is very endearing. That being said, I think each one of you guys is awesome. So just put that out there. In terms of what you guys have been talking about so far, the only thing that I really kind of got to call out my buddy Jan Trachtenberg on is the whole idea of District 9 and this being some kind of thing that's going to reignite the zeitgeist of science fiction and geekdom.
Yeah, you did, Dan. You
did say
it would reignite the zeitgeist.
And my thing is, like, this movie looks really weird. Like, it doesn't, like, first of all, I think it's going to be awesome.
Which, by the way, for me, saying this movie looks really weird, you've already got me. It's like I'm a fan of weirdness for weirdness' sake. So to have it be weird and maybe good,
because I'm looking at your hair and thinking awesome and weird.
You're just thinking weird, dude. All right, so okay, continue with Dan.
No, I think it's going to be awesome and weird, but I don't think it's going to be something like Cloverfield. Even though it's similar to Cloverfield because both Cloverfield and this movie have to do with sort of outside alien forces, and both of them are kind of shot in a documentary You Are There style. But this movie does not look like, anything that people recognize. Cloverfield was like Godzilla type thing. It was like Monster Attack. This is kind of much more cerebral, and so I fear that it might not be as popular as you would like it to be. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it totally makes sense, but let me explain. Like, I'm one of those weirdos that has a knee-jerk reaction against popularity. Like, I will like movies in spite of their popularity, not because of them. I'm one of those goofballs who wants to think that my tastes are so eclectic and special that only I am the guy brilliant enough to appreciate Primer for its awesomeness.
Like Ghosts of Girlfriends Past.
Yeah. You look like you were about to say something, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, I think as I said in what I said before, I mean, I could be wrong, and what Dave said would articulate exactly why I would be wrong. But the chance I am right in that, I mean, those are the things that make the deepest impression, are the things that you don't expect popular culture to glom onto because it's such a big deal. And I think of Blair Witch Project, man, I don't know what else.
Well,
of course,
that's not good.
Of course, Blair Witch Project was its own thing. That was the first time we really had seen anything like that, and it kind of came out of the woodwork.
And what year did that movie come out?
1999.
Oh, that's right. Yes, that's right. It was 1999, wasn't it? I'm sorry. Keep going, Dan. Go ahead.
Right, man. 99. Because I was just gonna say The Matrix as well. I mean, that is also that same year. That's pretty crazy. That same summer. But even The Matrix, I remember being very thrilled by the trailer, but I remember a lot of people going, well, I don't get what the fucking big deal is. So I think that it's for that very reason that it could be a very big...
You go, from the chat room, we just got in that apparently Inspector Gadget came out in 1999 as well.
Gadget, next time.
Can I respond to Dan?
Okay, yes, please respond to Dan. Go for it.
Okay, I have two things to say. First of all, number one, the Matrix, you're talking about a freaking movie that has a ton of gunplay, a freaking lobby shootout scene, kung fu, jiu-jitsu, explosions, and you're comparing that to a movie that features aliens that's a stand-in for...
You're talking about Inspector Gadget?
So I just think
okay, and
next on the same level. The second thing I would say, that's more interesting to me, is the idea that you guys mentioned this earlier, but the Halo movie. So, Master Worm, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but like this, or Dan, if you know this too, but correct me if I'm wrong, that this movie is kind of Neil Blomkamp's tryout for the Halo film. Like, if this does really well,
that's what it really looks like. And the thing that I need to point out, the one thing that I'm kind of siding with Dan on with this and keeping my fingers crossed, is there are two words attached to this that are going to get mainstream people into the film.
And whatever would those words be?
They would be Peter Jackson.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Hostel. People didn't go to Hostel because they said, hey, I really want to see torture porn. They went to Hostel because it said Quentin Tarantino presents.
Right.
Well, all of this stuff.
Or Cloverfield. which had nothing to do with J.J. Abrams,
No,
other than his giant name for it.
Well, it was the name recognition, and it was the internet hype that nobody knew what the hell was going on. The problem is that this is coming out in the tail end of a summer with so many awesome things coming up beforehand that we don't have enough time to talk about and get excited about that. I mean, I'm surprised we've spent so much time on it now and not talked about the things that everybody else is like foaming at the mouth for.
Well, I
which
wonder,
is cool.
I wonder if
I
it
love
might.
it.
I wonder if it might not be a momentum thing, because I had fallen out of the habit of seeing movies regularly, but there's so much good stuff that every weekend it's like, you know what, I do want to bother to see my buddies Gus and Bettina and crew every single week doing this, and I wonder if I don't know. It just seems like a really good summer, and maybe we're seeing some rolling along with it. I don't know.
And can I say one more thing to return to? I just pulled it up just because I was curious.
Yes.
The Matrix opening weekend was almost $28 million. That was its opening weekend. It didn't even gross. It didn't even gross over 200 million. It's looking like on Box Office.
Well,
Mojo.
no, it was a not domestically. It's a rated R film, and it was the highest grossing rated R film at the time. It's
gross under 200. Yeah.
Yeah, it was 150 something, I think. But of course, keep in mind, it was released in March against nothing, and it was a film that not only appealed to us nerds and the geeks, but it also appealed to Joe Sixpack, who's like, man, I like all them explosions and that hot woman in the latex jumping and the kicking. I want to see that on the TNT playing after the Beastmaster.
But anyway, my point is that to become a cultural phenomenon, it doesn't have to equate to appealing to all audiences
or be a
and
big
having
commercial
a big opening weekend.
Success, yeah. Yeah, I would agree.
Joe Sixpack can see Russia from his porch.
Oh, God damn.
I could see Russia from my house.
All right. Well, cool. Well, I tell you, we got some other people calling in. Was there anything else you wanted to chat about?
I'm sure there's plenty, but I'll let you guys get on with your show. It's been an honor to be on.
Can you tell us how awesome we are again?
Look, you are always welcome to call in. In fact, I'm kind of sad that you had to call in on the actual phone line. I felt like I made you take the ghetto back door exit. We should have had a proper entrance for you right in the front door.
I'm really used to back doors. But
well, hey, you need to hang out with Dan some more. He likes dick.
I like dick. I don't like being in dick. All right, what was it?
Wait, you don't like being in dick? Do you like dick in you? What are you trying to say?
Oh, I forget what we were talking about. No.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, let's.
All right, let me just say, let me just put in one plug real quick, Brian.
Please, yeah, by all means.
Which is that I would encourage people to check out the Hurt Locker. Since we're talking about movies that.
Is it slashfilm.com? Hold on. Is it slashfilm?
Check out the Hurt Locker.
Wait. Is it slashfilm.com? Is that your website?
Yeah, slashfilm.com.
All right, I just want to make sure I put the right plug.
Okay, we're talking about Hurt Locker now?
Hurt Locker?
Oh, yeah. Hurt Locker, which is an Iraq war film directed by Catherine Bigelow, the woman that directed Point Break.
Point Break?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's what are you saying about it? Did you really like it?
Hurt Locker, it's pretty freaking awesome, and even if you don't like war movies, especially like Iraq war movies, you should still find something to enjoy about it.
See, now I didn't enjoy Hurt Locker at all.
Oh, you saw it?
I was pretty bored by it.
Were you?
I don't. There's really no depth to the characters. There's three major characters in the film, but the film wants you to get to know one of those characters, but it doesn't tell you that until the end of the movie.
This is a movie that I have not seen. Hurt Locker. I'm looking forward to it a long time, and I think I've already had it a little bit spoiled for me, and I feel it's a movie that can be spoiled. I sense so. I just want to say, careful.
Oh, hey, I'm the king of anti-spoilers. You know that. You've read me for a while. I don't spoiling.
I know.
Matt,
I'm just saying.
I just want to say I've read your work for a long time as well, and I've been a huge fan. But one of the first reviews I ever read from you was you bashing the hell out of No Country for Old Men.
About which one?
No Country for Old Men. Yeah, you did. You did not like that movie.
I really don't like that movie. But really, oh god, that was just 2 years ago. Yeah.
I actually I enjoyed it, and then in my mind, it's like my mind has long term written it down that I accidentally got distracted and never saw the end of it. When I know clearly I saw the end of it.
See, and I sat down to give it another chance a few months ago when it came out on as a special edition, and I really tried really hard. I'm like, okay, I'm going to try to see the movie that everybody else saw.
But you've got to admit, there are points in that movie that are positively electric.
And that's what my review was. That 90% of it is incredible, but just the lack of an ending really just frustrated me. So yeah, no, I'm not always the one to go to on these particular kinds of films. But I think this is one of those that's going to be a critical darling that audiences are going to turn their nose up at. Yeah. And even with No Country for Old Men, how many people did you talk to that was like, oh man, that was really good? The ending kind of sucked, but
I don't know. What did you think, Dan? Did you like that one?
No Country for Old Men?
Yeah.
Yes, I adored it. But I also don't take issue. I think it has an eccentric ending. I really like the ending. I think the ending almost makes the movie for me. But it's not. It's different. So it's going to. I completely empathize and understand with someone who doesn't like it. I personally did. The ending I'm referring to.
Right.
Someone who doesn't like the rest of the movie, I cannot believe that.
No, because it's so good.
Right. Well, let's do this. While we still have you on the phone, let's talk about So we already talked about what we like the most so far this summer. What are we most excited going into the rest of the summer? Because I mean, I guess we got District 9, we got Transformers 2.
Don't you sneer.
I'm sneering. Sneer. I am sneering at
even though that trailer kind of sucks ass.
Oh, dude, the trailer totally sucks ass.
This is what gets me.
No, let me explain. The trailer lost in my mind to the G.I. Joe trailer. What is that telling you?
No, here's what was weird. I was at Wolverine and we had 2 trailers, and I've seen one of the trailers a number of times. The one movie that I'm excited about that I'm seeing the trailer for is the new Judd Apatow film, and I'm not a big Judd Apatow fan.
Which one is which film?
Funny People.
I don't know.
Funny People. It looks really good. It's Adam Sandler and why am I forgetting his name? All of a sudden, he's in every movie known to man now.
Michael Caine.
Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen.
Jonah Hill.
Okay.
Yeah, Seth Rogen, and it's about comedians, and it looks really good. And it's playing back to back with Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen, which I should be stoked for. And what movie am I dying to see? Funny People. I see the Revenge of the Fallen trailer, and I go, ooh, pretty explosions. Ooh, lots of robots. Oh crap, John Turturro's back. Oh shit. And then I'm like, oh.
As far as, let me agree with Mass that I think Funny People looks will be really funny. It should be funny, and it really
I think
good
Dan makes a really very cogent point. I think he spoke to the heart of the matter there. I'm sorry, we couldn't understand any of that. We were having some internet issues right there.
What happens?
Okay,
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now. Keep going. Keep going.
What I said was that I agree with Masserman that Funny People looks like it could be really funny, and I'm not a big Judd Apatow at all. But on top of that, it looks like it's going to be a really good movie. And the premise sounds like I will be crying at the end. And as far as Transformers 2 goes, I'm not excited for it. Yet I love the first one, and I have a feeling when I sit down in my seat and it starts playing within the opening 5 minutes, I will be like, yes, awesome. But the trailer doesn't do anything for me, and the idea of it for me. Yet I know that when I'm in there, I will start feeling it, and it'll be good. Hopefully.
I have to shame Ryan here for a second.
Oh man,
we've gone through. You're like, I just can't get excited. I can't get excited, dude. Harry Potter comes out. We get a 6th Harry Potter film
this summer. Is that this summer?
And have you not seen the trailer?
I've dropped off the train, dude. I could care less about that. You know what? I read those books, and I got all the way. It was just like, wow, Harry Potter's a whiny little bitch. Book 1. Book 2, wow, Harry Potter's a whiny little bitch. Oh, book 3, wow, Harry Potter's a whiny little bitch. And then book 4 is like, oh, finally all the rules changed. They're at war. Harry Potter's a grown-up. Book 5, oh, wait, you're a whiny bitch again. And I closed the book and I gave up. I was done. I think
you're kind of simplifying that a little bit.
No, that is verbatim the verbiage of every single book. And then Harry Potter poorly communicated and screwed everything up. That's every phrase.
I think that's kind of like saying Luke Skywalker's a whiny bitch.
Which he is! But he is in the best way.
But is that a problem? Right.
No.
I have to say, opening against Harry Potter is 500 Days of Summer, which that is the movie I am looking forward to most. I mean, I don't think there's a way that I will not leave that theater smiling.
I'm so bitter that I missed the screening of that. It was one of those things where I was ready to go. And
what's the premise behind 500 Days of Summer? I don't know.
It's John. God, why am I blanking out his name?
Joseph
Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah, and he. It's all about his entire relationship with this girl and him trying to get over her. And it's the 500 days that she is the obsession of his life. And
her name's Summer.
Her name is Summer,
Oh,
and everybody who has seen
Okay.
it
All right.
loves it. Like, this is that thing from Sundance that everybody just creamed for, and that everybody that sees it afterwards says that it lives up to the hype.
All right. Hey, somebody asked in the chat room, this is an interesting question, and it was directed to Massaworm. Do you think there shouldn't be any more Terminator films and that Terminator ended with Terminator 2?
I want to see. No, now that we've got 4, I definitely want to see 5. There's something that we knew we had to see that we have to see now. Now that we've got the characters.
Yeah, and again, don't tell me, but I tell you, I really enjoyed Terminator 3 because I could tell it was a bridge to the possibility of. Well, I love the idea that we can live a lifetime where, as children, we saw a movie about robots from the future being sent to the present in order to assassinate people, and that as adults we can see the same franchise where we're watching the war real time, and it's now a totally different movie about sending robots into the past. And I mean, it's
and I
love all that. Yeah, I think it's great.
And like I said, like I wrote in my review, when I was in the 4th grade, I dressed up as Arnold Schwarzenegger. I have been obsessed with this franchise since I was a child.
Yeah,
this was one of the first rated R movies I was allowed to see, and I just love this franchise, and I really enjoyed this movie. I mean, it's got its flaws, but there's so much of it that I enjoyed. In fact, I watched some of it in D-Box the other day.
I'm sorry, that's some new version of pornography that
yes,
I don't.
it is. It is a new version of visual pornography for us nerds, in which you sit in a chair that vibrates and tilts you around with the movie.
They had that at the mall, and they show you on a roller coaster.
Yeah, no. Except
down.
now that you can get that with your feature films, you can go and watch Terminator in D-Box, and when things explode, you're all over the place, and you can crank it up or turn it down, and it's fucking geek heaven.
Dude, you can
It's
spend
great.
$20 and have a chick do that to you the entire show long. She can shake you,
but at 10 minutes in, you kind of feel guilty about it.
All right.
It's kinda
So,
like,
okay. So what do we got? What do we got to be excited about? Enthusiasm, real quick. Scale of 1 to 10. Excitement for District 9.
I'm going to say 7.
Okay, Dan. 10. I'm gonna say 9. I don't know. I mean, it could be that there's something that I'm more excited about, but I don't know what. And I just realized that I totally spaced on the name of our caller from
Dave
Slash.
Chen.
Dave.
David.
Dave. What's your enthusiasm for District 9?
8.5.
8.5
oh
weeks.
man, I got to be the low man on the totem pole.
Okay, no, that's all right. Okay,
Some
what else
great
do we got?
movie.
We got Terminator or Transformers 2, Revenge of the Constructicons. You love Constructicons. I'm gonna lead off by saying 6.
8.
8? All right.
Dude, it's Michael Bay.
All right.
It's going to be worth the popcorn.
Okay, you're right. It is Michael Bay. I'm gonna revise mine down to 5. Okay, you were saying, Dan?
Son of a bitch.
I take issue with that last comment. I'd say 8.
Okay, you say 8. Dave?
I'm going to say 8 if it's an IMAX. Like, if you can see it in IMAX, that's an 8.
Okay,
if
no.
regular theater, maybe it's
But
7 or
what's the
6.5.
point of watching if it's not shot in IMAX? What's the point of watching it in an IMAX theater?
Because it's big and the sound kicks ass.
And it's blurry. To be honest, watching it in an IMAX is what ruined The Dark Knight for me. Because I know what I should have experienced is, oh, this scene is awesome. It's an IMAX. But instead, repeatedly, I'd be watching. I was like, why is it all fuzzy all of a sudden? I'm like, oh, because this part's not in IMAX.
I don't know what the hell happened. That's how they showed it to us here in Austin.
Yeah, well,
and I never noticed it being fuzzy.
Oh, I totally noticed. It's like you watch it and everything's great, and all of a sudden it's fuzzy and small, and I didn't understand why. And second of all, also being in an IMAX theater, it's not like I'm polluted, and I'm surprised you don't have the same experience. Going to the Alamo Draft House where everybody is punk rocked out and they're drinking and they're having I mean, it's like you feel it there. You're watching a movie, you're rocking, but at an IMAX, it's like, and that was The Dark Knight. Make sure to You know what I'm talking about, right? It's like you're in class and you can't enjoy it the same.
But it's not all Tim League coming out either. Because when you get a Tim League show and Tim League walks out, he's like, because like he did a Crank 2 screening, a midnight screening here in town. He walks out and he goes, "I just got done shooting cocaine into my testicles. This movie's gonna be awesome." And the crowd's like.
Well, I tell you, there's the draft house effects that gives any on a 5-star scale, it gives any movie an extra star, and I really felt the lack of that because going to IMAX didn't work for me. But you were wanting to say something, Dan.
I was just gonna say I agree with you on the visual quality. If it's not shot in IMAX, it shouldn't be screened in IMAX. Thank you. I've gone repeatedly thinking, oh, maybe now it's better because everyone's saying how great it is. So maybe they improved over the years. And it's still, and I actually saw Transformers, the first one. I saw it in regular theaters, and then I went and saw it in IMAX. And the end action sequence was incomprehensible. And and the real issue with the remix for large audience, there's like that it can be seen the way you should see a movie.
Did you see? Did you see Star Trek in IMAX yet?
It's not in IMAX. You're not allowed to call it in IMAX. It's in 35 millimeter.
Okay, hold on. Let me rephrase. Did you see Star Trek at the IMAX?
Thank you, because it's okay. There you go. Okay.
I didn't. I have no interest in doing that. But
can I defend IMAX, please?
Okay,
no,
you can
please
you can defend IMAX.
Back me up, brother.
But are you defending watching 35 millimeter prints on IMAX? Because we may have an issue there. But go ahead.
First of all, there's going to be at least 3 scenes in Transformers 2 that were shot in IMAX.
Oh,
just putting that out there. Yes. Second of all, I disagree with everything you said, Brian, about The Dark Knight.
Okay.
I mean,
I know. And by the way, I know.
Shot,
I treat this like I have a deformity, like I have an illness. Like I don't claim I represent America here. This is whatever's wrong with me that polluted that experience.
Are you saying you're small and fuzzy?
I'm saying that I have serious issues that are related to The Dark Knight. But go ahead.
The first shot of The Dark Knight, when you see that establishing shot that's takes place in Chicago, and it fills the entire 6-story tall screen, is freaking spectacular. My mouth was open. My eyes were open.
Now,
it was just
did
amazing.
you know? And again, I'm gonna try to paint the right picture here. Did you know that was the opening scene of the movie?
No, I went in completely fresh.
Well, because here's what I'm getting at, and this is what I really I've kept this in my back pocket the entire time. I haven't, and now that I have all 3 of you on the line, gentlemen, let's have a discussion. May I suggest that perhaps part of the reason I had a problem with The Dark Knight and it didn't sit well with me is because I had read the opinions of people who I expected, and as a result it colored my experience and perhaps raised my expectations to an unfair level, and that is why.
Are you talking about those of us that said it was this generation's Godfather and Empire Strikes Back?
Is that what you said?
Yeah, I believe that's
okay, so okay, and
I believe I was right.
Okay, maybe so, but the problem is, it's like I get in trouble. Bonnie the Invisible Wife, she says she gets like really angry when I say, oh, well, the reviews say, she's like, oh, you're reading reviews. And she just gets so angry at me because it colors my experience going into it. Now,
that's a really good impression of your wife, by the way.
Hey, I get kind of a similar thing to my wife, where I'll come out and I'll be throwing my shoes around and screaming. She's like, "You've been reading reviews again, haven't you? You've been reading the people who disagree with you."
No, but see, but here's the thing: you guys have a reason to always see the movie, and it's important for your job that you see it with a clean palate. And I'm so jealous of that, which means you get to experience discovery. Like, I'm going to go see Terminator knowing that 72% of all reviewers disliked it. And that bums me out.
Oh, I saw it.
Wait, Brian.
Yes.
First of all, I actually do sympathize with you. But second of all, you're completely wrong to say that we have it good. Because I have literally been writing about Terminator Salvation for 11 months.
You've been what about
writing.
it? Writing about it for 11 months.
Writing about Terminator Salvation since like July 2008.
And
are you getting really pathetic line?
And so did that color your experience?
Well, let's just say when you write about a movie for 11 months and then you see the movie and it's Terminator Salvation, and you can't help but be at least a little bit disappointed.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, and it's an interesting question. I don't know if there's a solution or what. I guess the solution is I could not. But here's my conundrum, right? Is if I was the smart solution is say, okay, I'm not going to read any more reviews now. I'm just going to go in cold to movies. I'm going to look at previews and say that looks like something I'd like, and I'll go see it or not see it, right? But the problem is that I'm so busy that I get really mad when I take the time to go see average movies. I don't have time for average or below average movies. It's like I only want to go to see a movie and be blown away. And I have so many friends who are in the movie reviewing business, you know, Dan and Cargill and now David. I can't help but want to ask them, and then all of a sudden it kind of, it kills me. I don't know.
Let me impart
my... Oh, yeah, hold on. I'm gonna go to Dan first. I'll go to Dan first, David, and then we'll come back to you. Go ahead, Dan.
Okay, sure.
As this may help you, Brian, the way I've interacted with reviews, and namely Analytical News for the past 10 years or so, is I will read the first paragraph, and this is mainly how most reviews are set up. I will review the first paragraph where the reviewer states his position on the filmmakers or where the movie comes from and where they're coming from going to see the movie. Read up until it starts getting into what the plot is. And I will scroll down to see, in summation, I basically felt this way about it. So I never get the real nitty-gritty, detailed stuff about why this thing worked. I'll read that after I see the movie, if I really like the writer of the review.
Right.
So I take all of that into consideration.
What are you trying
to
say?
And I pair that with, do I agree with what they said previously about this filmmaker? Does it sound like, does the things he didn't like sound like things that I actually do like? So I never really just look at a rating or stars or even a thumbs up or thumbs down.
You've actually just hit on a point of what makes a well-written review. A well-written review isn't one that gives your opinion specifically of how you felt about the movie, but explains what you liked and what you didn't, so that someone else who totally disagrees with you can see those things and figure out if that movie is right for
All right,
them.
well, let me do this. I'm gonna hear from David, and then I have a theory that I wanted to propose to you guys. David, what was your opinion on the same subject?
Oh, yeah. First of all, I just want to say that I echo Dan's comments. I generally try not to read reviews except for like a positive or negative before I go see the movie. And I also want to say, Brian, regardless of the reviews, I got to echo the sentiment of a chat room member here who said The Dark Knight was the effing balls in IMAX.
Was the epic balls? Is that what he says? Yeah. Okay, but and look, I'll be the first to admit maybe I've got a disease that prevents me from thinking that talking in a gruff voice for 2 hours freaking straight is awesome. But
it is awesome. It is awesome. I'm the goddamn Batman.
Okay, so listen, here's something interesting that I've noticed, and I don't know that we've ever had this until the last 10 years. Maybe we're the first generation to experience this, but with stuff like Metacritic and Rotten Tomato, now we have opinion aggregators, right? And something interesting happens with that. I've noticed that I like movies that don't get the most positive reviews. For example, like going back, like Finding Nemo had 99% positive reviews, because who could seriously say they hated Finding Nemo? But this was either the same year or roughly, was it 1999? Was that Finding Nemo?
No, Finding Nemo was actually this decade.
Okay, 2000. Okay, but flip side, Fight Club got 59 or 62% positive reviews, and I loved Fight Club with a passion like no other movie. I mean, it's definitely one of my top 5 of all time. And I've realized that I actually look for movies like Primer, where a significant portion of the reviewers actively disliked it, but then it's a theme and a style that I think I'll like. And so I don't know. I think that's interesting that I actively look for movies that about a third of America hates, and then that's what really does it for me. Have you noticed that or thought anything about that, Dan?
I see that a lot. You know, I it's tough. I mean, I'll let really negative reviews if it's a movie that I'm for, I'll let that convince me to not go see it. or if it's a movie that I thought would be bad, if it gets negative reviews, I'm like, okay, cool, then I don't need to see it. But I remember, I think Stardust got really low ratings on Rotten Tomatoes, and I was like, what? It's supposed to be awesome. I to this day have not seen Ghost, Ricky Gervais' Ghost movie, because it got and it's on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wait, and you know,
I've heard that's great from friends. So it's Ghost Town. So it's definitely something that I should go see because there's a chance I might like it. And that's the thing is that, look, you didn't like The Dark Knight, other people did. I mean, you can't really decide to go because of what other people think. You kind of have to take it into consideration.
Well, let me say real quick, and there have been casualties because of Rotten Tomatoes. I loved with a passion Equilibrium. I thought Equilibrium was a brilliant movie for done on as little as money as it was with future Batman Rockstar. Oh, you're looking like you don't like Equilibrium. That's okay.
I didn't like Equilibrium. But
I loved Equilibrium with that end scene with the gun.
Now you're going to mention the critical reviews of it.
Well, no, not Equilibrium, because I saw Equilibrium. All I got was a Twitter or this is pre-Twitter. I got a text message from Jason Murphy saying, "Watch Equilibrium. That is all." And I happened to be holding a friend's DVD collection, and there was Equilibrium in it, and I put it in, and I was blown away. Right now, flip side, I still have not seen Kurt Wimmer's next film, Ultraviolet, because the reviews were so bad but. If I didn't know the reviews, I at least would have seen it, though.
And you have been spared.
See, and that's just it.
No,
I've been spared everything because I haven't watched anything.
Ultraviolet is literally one of the worst films I have ever fucking seen.
Maybe. But regardless, I'm bummed that I didn't get to decide that for myself, is what I'm saying. So, I'm sorry. So Dave, what do you say about this?
Okay, so I have a couple things to say. First of all, Brian, you've mentioned Primer like a few times, and I want to say strongly recommend you see a movie called Time Crimes.
Chronos Criminus.
Oh my God! I have. What's funny is I don't know what was going on in my head. That's the movie that I have from Netflix right now downstairs. I have Time Crimes, and I picked it up, and I'm like, the hell did I order Time Crimes? This sounds stupid.
If you Google me, and you Google me in the photos section, I come up as a picture with Nacho Vigalondo, the director of that.
I don't even know what that means.
I love Nacho. He comes to town every year. He's like the coolest fucking guy, and that movie just so blew our minds.
Okay, but Time Crimes is good though, right?
Chronos Criminus.
Oh yeah, man.
Okay. Well, I have Time Crimes, and I'm very excited to watch it. And it probably got recommended to me because I like Primer so much. But go on, Dave. What else you got for us?
Oh, and I also wanted to say, Ryan, I think the serious truth. The reason that you like those movies that are like, not as well reviewed is because the best movies are the ones that try to do something new and interesting and like it,
Right. Yeah, no, the best movies make a significant portion of the populace uncomfortable.
Guess what is 57% on Rotten Tomatoes right now?
The Dark Knight?
No, Brothers Bloom.
Oh, really? The Brothers Bloom.
That's not cool.
See, no, but to be honest, that is cool. That actually gets me excited. Wow. That makes me want to see The Brothers Bloom. If I have somebody whose opinion I respect, that's both you guys, but Dan is obviously more enamored with it than you are, Cargill.
Saying more enamored with it is like saying, I love pizza. Dude, I fucking splooge for pizza.
Okay,
we're both up there in the we love this movie.
But the point is that you guys both, a personal recommendation from people whose style and understanding I believe in, and seeing a polarizing set of Rotten Tomatoes reviews actually has me super freaking excited about the movie.
Let me just
Brian,
I want to do a quick experiment. Dan, are you rated on Rotten Tomatoes? Are you a contributor?
No, I'm not a contributor. No.
David, are you?
I'm working towards it, sir.
But you're not. See, this is the odd thing. I only know a handful of people that actually do it, and none of them are the guys that I read. Like literally, most of Rotten Tomatoes now. I mean,
it's like syndicated columnists.
What it is it's a lot of people who want to be. That are on smaller sites. A lot of people have.
Hold on, if I could break in for a second in the chat room, they're pointing out "Drag Me to Hell" has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Right now because there's been one screening.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was an awesome screening.
All right. But Dan was looking like he had something you wanted to say earlier. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say before I could have hated Brothers Bloom. and I still would have said, Brian, you have to go see Brothers. I mean, it still would be your favorite movie. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just that I like it. I feel like you will love it.
It's a movie made for Brian.
No joke.
I'll go see it. We'll report on it.
Now you're getting right now is you're getting 100% friend tomato.
We see, and that's just it. Is I wish there was a way. Here's what we need. Oh, dude, you want to make money, Rotten Tomatoes, you bastards, or better yet, some startup who wants to take down Rotten Tomatoes. You apply the Netflix dynamic to reviewer stuff, where you say you take all your reviews of movies, what you thought on a scale of 1 to 5 stars, and then it maps that against the records of all these different critics, and it figures out which critics exactly track to your opinion, and then it gives you exactly those qualified reviews.
Rotten Tomatoes added something neat that I noticed recently, which is, it may have been around for a while, but I don't go that in depth, but there's actually a rating that'll tell you how often you agree with the tomatometer.
That's awesome. And the problem is I don't want to have to go do everything over again. Is there any way it could tie in to the Netflix numbers? Like, are those public? I wish there was a way
I have no idea.
You could do that.
I do find that people trust the Netflix numbers, the Netflix ratings, a lot more than they'll trust the Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, ratings. Dude, 100%, because Netflix is a pretty good guesser. Which brings me back to, Netflix has the entire first season of Avatar available on instant download. And I can honestly say, and I'm talking to you, Dan, here, I would not have watched Avatar if it wasn't available on instant download. It was... I heard you guys talking about it on Totally Rad Show, and I was like, I should totally watch this, and I got up to, wait, this is Nickelodeon, and then I didn't watch it, and I felt, I was like, one of these days, maybe I'll watch it or whatever, and then I was sitting there, because of the Xbox does the instant streaming, I was like, oh, hey, the first season is on instant stream. So I threw it on there, and my daughter is 5 years old now, and she was like, Daddy, I want to watch Johnny Test. And I was just like, well, I've got this other thing, Avatar. She's like, no, Johnny Test. I was like, well, let's watch the first one. And I put it on, and I was over, and I was like, well, what do you want to watch next? She's like, this is awesome, Daddy. And I mean, we watched, it was one of the most precious experiences.
I have that experience with my nephews. They were over at my place for an afternoon.
Yeah.
And they're screaming, we want to watch Harry Potter. And I'm like, actually, you guys have all seen Harry Potter. I'm going to show you a kid that I watched growing up and that your mommy watched growing up. It's called The Dark Crystal. No, we're going to watch Harry Potter. We're going to watch Harry Potter. We'll watch The Dark Crystal. We watched The Dark Crystal for about 20 minutes. They're like, Harry Potter. And then they'd be quiet for a while. And then we're like, okay, it's time to go to Chuck E. Cheese. They're like, no, I want to watch The Dark Crystal.
Yeah.
And they went home and screamed about that film so much. My sister had to go out and buy The Dark Crystal to shut them up. And I'm so proud.
Dark Crystal holds up over time, is what you're
God,
saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
Another world, another time.
Massaworm and Dave, do not make the same mistake that Brian made. Please. For you. I'm trying to help you out. Watch Avatar.
When you're saying my mistake, you're talking about my mistake that I rectified, because I am paying my penitence
I
now.
have to honestly say, you guys are the first adults I've talked to that have told me that it's awesome, and I trust both of you guys, so I'm going to sit down and I'm going to give it a shot.
Let me tell you, I'm going to confess.
Too. My two other homies on Totally Rad Show, I mean, the three of us, it wasn't like one of us liked it and the other guys, whatever, We all, three grown men, I'm the youngest of the bunch, it was our favorite show. It is probably collectively our favorite television show.
Yeah.
Tell me you guys all have a house together. I have this daydream that you live together and have this happy, totally rad life.
They do have a totally rad life, but let me tell you, and I'm gonna confess something here that I'm a little bit uncomfortable saying. So, I mean, I laughed out loud repeatedly. There was one episode, and Dan can probably guess which one. I bet you could guess the exact part. There was one episode that, I kid you not, brought me to tears. I literally wept as a grown man. Dan's not impressed at all.
No, I'm trying to think of what that would be, what that moment would be.
It was Iroh's tale during
yes.
Okay, you know what I'm talking about.
You know that.
Yes, I do, and I want to learn more of that backstory behind it.
Dan, I want to stop you here because I'm getting the feeling that you're going into spoiler territory.
Okay. Okay, so but I know what you're about to talk about, Dan, and I wish I knew the full backstory about it, because I don't know who that guy is, but I understand that happened during during I guess the taping of the series. Do you know something extra?
Mako is he's the teacher. He's the Mr. Miyagi of a lot of movies. You guys probably know. I'm trying to think off the top of my head which movie. Well, he's in Pearl Harbor. He was one of the bad generals in Pearl Harbor. But what movies, guys, is Mako the teacher guy, the Miyagi
Mako?
type?
Well, let's see. There's Big Trouble in Little China.
No,
wait.
Mako's not in Big
You're
Trouble in
talking about
China.
Egg? He was Egg in.
No, not Egg. That's a different actor.
Isn't that Mako? You're talking Mako,
Mako
right?
is he's in Conan,
and he's in Conan as well.
Who is he in Big Trouble in Little China?
He's not Big Trouble in China.
Is he not? Am I flaking?
Okay,
I'm flaking.
All right,
it's all right though. I would do that too. They all look the same. I know.
Wait,
my gosh!
Wait, did somebody?
Wow. Let me just say that was Dan Trachtenberg's quote. Somebody take that out of context because black people are not slaves
really
in America.
about that.
But I'm sorry, you were saying. Go ahead.
Yeah, he was Conan the Destroyer. I'm trying to remember what else, but he's the Mr. Miyagi type in a few movies. But anyway, he voices one of the characters that Brian's referring to.
Right. Well, and by the way, the vignette, like the moment I was moved to tears, had nothing to do with the ending of where they say dedicated to. I mean, it was like that story was so precious and sweet and tight. It just slayed me.
And sadly, we've lost Mako.
Mako's
gone to the great beyond.
Oh, I didn't know that. Interesting. All right, so Dave,
the guy passed away. And he
no,
was awesome.
That's cool. So listen,
Splinter in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
He was Splinter. Okay, he was Splinter. Okay, so Dave, are you going to go out and watch Avatar now?
I definitely will. Although I think the movie is going to be a complete train wreck.
Hey, you know what? Let's not even think about that stuff because it won't matter.
But you know what? We'll always have if the movie's a complete train wreck.
We'll always have the perfection of the actual animated series, which is absolutely amazing.
You know, the thing is, can anyone explain to me why we're making live-action versions of animated series? Can we not just make a big-budget animated film? Do we have to have big-name stars acting like it in things that are artistic and beautiful to begin with?
No, you know what we'll have is we'll get the Final Fantasy movie if we do, because Final Fantasy was the height of perfection of anime big budgetness,
except that the story wasn't all that great.
Right. Well, you know, but
I like that film a lot.
That was not the only problem with Final Fantasy. You had the dead eye. You had the uncanny valley of the dead eyes of the actors.
But why can't we make a big, huge budget, really cool Avatar: The Last Airbender that introduces everyone to the series? Why can't we
I would love it.
It's called Avatar Season 1, Episode 1.
Yeah, dude.
Now,
Well said.
Let me play a game with you, Matt Swarm. Which did you like more? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the live-action movie, or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the
animated
CG,
series?
The new...
Well, I mean, it's which one would I watch now? I'd watch the new one because I really love the animated, the recent animated film. I thought that was a lot of fun.
I'm sorry.
Wait, were you asking Dave or Cargill? Who are you asking? Were you asking Dave or Cargill?
Well, I mean, Cargill was arguing the point. So
okay. So asking Cargill, which do you like better, the animated movie or the TV show?
I like the animated.
The live action, but not the live action movie.
The live action I loved as a kid, and I mean, to this day, I'm all about the TURTLE power. But Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
And do you like Transformers?
Do I like I love Transformers.
Yeah, what is he? You accusing him of being a communist? What is this? You just don't level that.
The first Transformers.
Well, but now you're talking about, do I like 1980s cheap animation that was sold to us to sell toys, or did I like the Michael Bay $200 million extravaganza?
Let me tell you, dude, I'm gonna say I like the original cartoons, but like in my heart, like when I'm about to die, I'm not gonna remember the Michael Bay movie. I'm gonna remember the Energon cubes and the landing on the 1980s.
But I gotta say, having seen Dragon Ball Evolution, Dragon Ball Evolution is proof that, you know what, because I've watched Dragon Ball, and you know what, even though I'm not a fan of the series, I'd much rather watch an animated Dragon Ball than watch people try to mimic an animated Dragon Ball.
That's interesting. So you sound like you like the big.
I was just gonna say that and I think that and what's cool about Transformers is it does something that the cartoons could never do, because in a cartoon, seeing a car turn into a robot isn't really spectacular. But in the movie, in live action, seeing the car turn into a robot is awe-inspiring. So I think that
but that's
there's.
Yeah, and
that's again, we are talking about something that we're still talking about. Those things were animated. I mean, those things weren't real. I mean, we're talking about something.
Maybe you lost. You were saying that why do we need to have these live action remakes of cartoons? And I think that
I don't think I used cartoon. I don't mean to imply cartoons because I'm talking about anime itself. I mean, when you look at I look at the artwork from Avatar, and I see something really pretty. There was that thing that we were looking at earlier, which is the side-by-side pictures, and I think the animated picture says so much more than the guy standing in front of a fight.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I'm kind of the same thought. I don't have it anymore. Can somebody send us that side by side?
Yeah, because I mean, I'm looking at that, and that looks, that animation and what you guys are telling me looks exciting. Trying to condense everything that worked about a 4-season television show drawn like that into a live action film that has to entertain not only you guys who love the material, but entertain me who's never been introduced to it. Doesn't really get me excited. But yeah, here we go.
But understand though, you've got to color this in the this is a unreleased picture or some kind of promotional shot that this is not how the whole this is a guy sitting in front of a barbecue. This is not the final product. You know what I mean?
No, I agree.
Let me ask you this. Well, hold on. Let me
go for it.
Did you like 300?
No, actually, I don't like 300.
What? You did not like 300?
Right.
What's the matter?
Well,
you like the Persians? You love them killing all of Sparta?
No, I loved the graphic novel, which actually had a heart and soul, and Zack Snyder didn't get it. Ripped the soul out of the comic. There is the main character in 300 in the comic book, in the graphic novel, is not present in the film. His name is Stelios. They nickname him Stumblios. In the comic book, when you read the comic, you don't like Leonidas for the first third of the book because Leonidas is an asshole.
Yeah.
He is. I mean, what happened? The book opens. A guy trips on a rock on this march. His captain comes up and starts beating the crap out of him. Leonidas comes up, clocks him in the back of the head, says, "I didn't give you permission to beat my man." And then he points to Stelios and goes, "You know what? Your captain just tripped and fell. Looks like you better carry him." And so now this guy that tripped has to carry his captain. They finally rest at the end of the day, and Leonidas says, "Nobody eats tonight or anytime tomorrow." And you could thank Stelios for that. And everybody's pissed at Stelios. But by the time you get to the end of that graphic novel, he's turned Stelios into a man. And Stelios runs out and is the guy that gives his back to Leonidas to jump up and throw the parting spear.
Now,
it's a story about becoming a man, and it's also a story about the most badass warriors in history who give up their humanity to become the most badass warriors in history.
Right.
And here we have this backslapping gay movie about these guys who are supposed to be badasses who aren't half as cool as they are in the comic book.
Okay, so what you're saying is your opinion of 300 is heavily colored by the superior experience of having read the graphic novel.
Exactly.
Which I had not read the graphic novel. I enjoyed the movie, but Dan brought it up for a reason, I'm sure. Where were you headed with that, Dan?
Oh, no. I was going to say that the live action depiction was visually stunning, and I'm glad. I mean, because we're bringing up comparison to Avatar still to that, and it's like, well, yeah, that doesn't look. But I was happy to see 300 because I thought, while the graphic novel has some striking imagery, it was equally, if not more, impressive seeing it in live action. So I think there's something to the live action remakes. That being said, I did have some problems with 300. So, nowhere near as much.
I do agree with you that it was gorgeous. You have never seen anything like it, and it was worth seeing just to see it visually. But as a film, it just lacked the soul that I found in the comic.
By the way, real quick,
that's my point then. You know what I mean? Like, there is something to the live action remakes. I mean, yes, bad ones make me wish they didn't make it, and we should have just had the cartoon or the comic or whatever. But the good ones, are make it work.
Comic books are a little different though because we don't get to see comics move. We don't hear the voices. But with anime, we do. We do get to see these things move and how they act and hear those voices.
But the anime of the Matrix is not the same as the Matrix movie. Seeing them in live action doing that awesome slow-mo effect, I think where Dan was
the movie came first, then the anime.
Right, but the movie was based on anime. The guys, it
was inspired by.
No, they
and it was
they
blatantly
walked up.
ripped off from.
Yeah, they walked
as
up
much
and
as
they
we
showed
love.
Ghost in the Shell, and they said, "We want to do this live action," and that's what made it a special thing. But go ahead, Dan.
So I was going to agree. I was going to agree with you that the notion, the notion, live action remake of an animated thing would be inferior. Just by the medium, I think there's something. I don't agree with that.
Let me bring in two things: Lord of the Rings and
Lord of the Rings.
Well, Lord of the Rings and 300, right? So Lord of the Rings and 300, both of those are movies because they are major release movies with live actors. They were able to translate a decently rough approximation of the story to an audience that never, there's the vast majority of people who saw 300 never were going to read the comic book.
Right.
And they got an experience, and I'm one of them. I still haven't read the comic book, but I enjoyed the movie. Same thing and I actually tried to read the books. I got all the way to Tom Bombadil and wanted to slit my throat, and I never finished the books. And then Lord of the Rings.
Now we're talking about books and comic books. Name one good anime adaptation into film.
I don't know, because this is a new.
Wait, let's name them. Period. Let's name them. Period. I'm just trying to remember. I'm like, what the live action so far that we've had?
Hold on, I'm losing it. We're having some Skype troubles, but let me ask you, because I think this is a new phenomenon we're experiencing. We haven't had anime legitimized as a form of art to justify being made into live action movies. This is something we're seeing in our lifetime. Go ahead.
I have one. What I was saying before was I'm racking my brain trying to come up with what.
Hold on, David.
David just chimed in.
No, David, hold on. We're gonna hear from Dan, and then we'll get to you.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
What I was saying before was I'm trying to rack my brain as to what we've had. So I'd love to hear the list so we can count off which one was good or which one was bad. But I know I'm in the. But I didn't just like, and I haven't seen it again. But I didn't just like. I loved Speed Racer.
See,
Really?
I love the hell out of Speed Racer as well.
Well.
Okay, now arguably, you did see. Now you named a good one. That's what I asked you. I said name one good one, and there you go. But then again, that's also arguably that I would say that's a near 40-year-old cartoon now, and the animation wasn't all that hot, and they did something very cool and unique with.
Well, and who's to say? But here's
okay. Let's say you can imagine seeing animation today. You can imagine now with cell and computer animation blended a Speed Racer cartoon. What do you think would be? Do you think that would be as good as the movie, or do you think? I'm sorry, not as good, but do you think that would be better than the movie that you love?
If they could tell a good narrative, if there was a narrative there that, I know the reason you guys love Avatar: The Last Airbender isn't because it's pretty and because it'll look good as a 2-hour movie. You're doing it because you really love the story that they tell over the course of 4 seasons. It's I don't want to see a Lost movie. I don't want to see anyone make a Lost movie because they're taking what I love and condensing it down and trying to sell it to people that don't already
So your
love it.
issue isn't with the medium, it's with the condensing a longer story into a shorter one. And that's your issue.
It's condensing a longer story into a shorter one in addition to the fact that we already have it in motion. I mean, that's the thing, is adapting a comic book or a novel or something like that's in another medium is completely different because we don't know how those things move. We don't know how those things sound. What does Frodo really look like? What does he sound like when he says these lines? And
you had the Ralph Bakshi cartoons.
Yeah, but on the flip side, also, again,
sure, things
hold on.
can be good or bad, but that has nothing to do with the medium.
We got to give Dave a chance to chime in, but real quick, let me explain that what I want to get out of an Avatar movie is seeing stuff not at 11 frames per second. There are constraints of budget that allow them to only make the animation so good. Now, within those things, I've never seen anything like what they did with Avatar. I mean, they really translate some fabulous imagery into this weekly Nickelodeon television show. But I wish so bad to have the visuals. Like I think back to the second Lord of the Rings movie. I think of the March of the Ents. I think back to the AT-ATs in Empire Strikes Back. This epic powerful imagery that's going to stay with me forever, and I'm sad that I don't have any of that under the category, under the file of Avatar, and I'm going to be perfectly happy to trade off some of the larger story elements in exchange for this powerful imagery that hopefully will stay with me for a long time if it's done correctly. Does that ring true with you, Dan?
First of all, let me say that was awesome, an awesome articulation of that idea. I don't, while I don't feel that way, I think that's an incredible point of view. I'm deathly afraid for the live-action Avatar movie. The Dragon Ball Z movie trailer, the Dragon Ball trailer, has me so scared for Avatar. But
have you not seen Dragon Ball Z yet?
What's that?
Have you not seen Dragon Ball Z yet?
No, I see it. I mean, should I have?
Oh God, no.
God
damn. Okay,
yeah.
Unless you traffic in funny reviews, because I would highly recommend it if you do that.
Okay, hold on. Look, we're dangerously close to actually completing a complete thought on the BB Live Show. So let's stick to this.
Let's bring Dave
all
into the mix.
Yeah, let's bring Dave in to wrap things up here. What do you say, Dave?
Okay, so I want to say that I think the reason that they do these translations is twofold. Number one, it's kind of, there's still this stigma. By the way, hold on, Brian, are you hearing the static, or is that just me hearing?
No, you're hearing static probably because of when we shut up. You're going to hear some room tone in there, which sounds weird on the iPhone. You sound great to us.
You sound magnificent.
Okay,
keep going.
Good. I'll just ignore. I'll just take off the earphones and just speak into the microphone. But I think in terms of translating anime or animation into live action, there's two marketing reasons for it, I'm guessing. Number one is kind of that even though, like, amongst us geeks, there's no stigma around animation, there's still, like, a vast swath of the United States population that just won't see cartoons in the movie theater, like, because of the, like, at least not if they're without their kids. So if you put a Dragon Ball Z movie out in theaters, and it's, like, just a 90-minute, animated version of the TV show, it's like a 90-minute episode, you're not going to get much more of a crowd than you might who already followed Dragon Ball Z, which brings me to the second point of, like, when you make a live-action thing, there's a lot more ways to build buzz. You have live-action actors you can build buzz around, a director, different kind of cool special effects that might impress people that you can use in the trailers and stuff like that. So that's why I think that's the reason behind why I think they try to make it into live-action. I don't agree with it. I think that's kind of why. I don't know what you guys think about that.
To make a slight counterpoint to that, I mean, up until 10 years ago, people didn't watch subtitled movies either. I mean, the vast majority of the population said, I don't like to read my movies. But then they made a really good one called Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and all of a sudden, it was the first subtitled film to make $100 million. If you make something good enough, if they made a really awesome Dragon Ball Z movie that everybody went home and said, oh my God, you have to see this. I know you haven't watched, you've got to watch this movie that's in theaters.
Real quick,
people would pay to see it.
Real quick, if I can interject. In the chat room, Chucky Dub says, Star Blazers would rule as live action. If you love Star Blazers, I think Avatar is this generation's Star Blazers. Like, you get people. I talked to people who loved Star Blazers as a kid, and they couldn't believe what an epic, complicated story they were telling on a cartoon that they watched at 3:00 in the afternoon. That's how people are going to talk 30 years from now about Avatar.
So let me say one thing. First of all, you guys are both right. I mean, that's the answer. Is you just are both right.
I know I am. I don't know about
you.
God dang it, freaking.
But I just want to say, Ryan, I think what you said is the issue. I take issue with what you just said, because while it may be this generation's Star Blazers, that is what's off-putting. Because to me, Avatar should be this generation's Star Wars. It is not
Harry
like
Potter.
This generation's.
I do agree. Yeah, Harry Potter is Star Wars. But go ahead.
No, but I'm saying the cartoon is this Avatar is so much better than any moments from any of the best moments in the prequels. Don't touch any of the lesser moments.
I agree.
I mean, yes, I know technically Harry Potter, yes, or Lord of the Rings or whatever, but like I don't even think either of them are really Star Wars. But
no, go ahead.
Wait,
I'll argue this point later.
Yeah, keep going. Because by the way, my goal is to wrap things up here in the next 5 minutes, and we'll keep it going in the after show. But we got to finish the official episode here shortly. But go ahead.
I mean, no, that's just it. I mean, I just comparing Avatar to another cartoon, I think, does it disservice. I think Avatar is if you like Star Wars, I can't imagine you not liking Avatar.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, Dave, do you want to chime in with anything before we wrap everything up here?
I want to say, actually, I want to point out a couple movies. I don't know if they were mentioned or if you guys gave them that much love, but I think Public Enemies by Michael Mann has the potential to be really awesome, even though it probably won't make that much money, if I had to guess. And I think Bruno is going to be hilarious because watching a guy pretend to be gay around homophobic people is hilarious.
And
I kind of make my career out of that.
Well, I am optimistic about Bruno. I'm a big Sacha Baron Cohen fan. I suspect that it will do very well and surprise everyone.
Yeah. So I just wanted to give a shout out to those films. But
Okay,
we basically brought everything.
Hey, Dave, it's slashfilm.com.
Yes.
Okay, look, I'm gonna hang up on you now, but call back here for the after show because we're gonna chit chat a little bit more off the record. But we're gonna go and wrap things up here, so I'm gonna let you go. Dave, everyone go to slashfilm.com.
Thank you guys for letting me join you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you got it.
It's great to speak to you. In
person. Yeah.
In
Well,
voice,
I tell you
yeah.
what, we'll actually get you on video next time. We'll have you Uvu in so we can have multiple hosts when we do another movie episode. All right, take care, Dave.
Sweet. Bye.
And any last gems you want to plug going into the summer?
Yeah, we never got to. Well, first of all, The Hurt Locker and Moon open the same time. And the Moon is the low budget sci-fi.
Have you seen it yet?
Moon, I have not seen it yet. And Moon, and Master, you should say, but Moon seems like that's Brian's brought a primer quite a bit, and I think that is the summer.
I have seen Moon.
Oh,
and Moon is incredible.
Dude,
Moon, you wouldn't believe it because it's just Sam Rockwell in a base with a robot voiced by Kevin Spacey. I mean, that sounds great. It's better than it sounds. It is such a great, smart movie.
I am spoiled for choice. This is 2009 is the new 1999 as far as I mean, this is amazing.
We'll see.
For me. I mean, I'm saying for the types of movies that do it for me, I am blown away by the choice I have.
You keep mentioning 99, but let's go back to 82, my man. 82 was the year.
Wait, E.T.
E.T.
Conan the Barbarian,
total crap. Dark Crystal.
Okay, Dark Crystal is awesome.
Poltergeist. Dude, 1982.
Return of the Jedi was 82, wasn't it?
That was 83.
Oh,
Megaforce, Deeds Not Words.
Megaforce. All right.
Megaforce.
Okay, well, like
like a Megaforce. Bam, 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 bam. I love me some Megaforce.
Okay, well, look, we'll talk about this in the after show. I didn't even get to tell my story of why I'm sunburned right now, but I'll explain that later. Any other hidden gems in the summer you want to plug?
Yeah, a lot of the Hangover is probably going to be cool.
Oh, dude, we didn't even talk about the Hangover. Hangover looks amazing.
I kind of saw that last night, actually.
Okay, all right. We'll talk about all this in the after show. But what's your pick for the best movie, quality-wise, as far as, like, that was the best movie of the summer moving forward? You could go ahead and call it Star Trek right now if you want, or you could do something else.
Let's take Star Trek out of the equation, and let's say best movie of the summer
starting
that's not
now.
named Star Trek.
Right, go ahead.
Oh, let's go, Dan.
Okay, and I can't say, dude. There's so many movies that we haven't gotten to. I can't say. I'm not gonna say Brothers Bloom.
Right.
I might have to say District 9.
Yeah.
Stick to my guns on that. I will say, did you see Inglourious? But Inglourious Bastards, I am not looking forward to anymore.
Okay, all right. We'll talk about this in the after show. Look, we got to wrap things up because we're almost at 2 hours for the show now. So, we'll talk about all this in this after show. We'll take a break. We'll keep the cameras rolling. Real quick, Cargill, you got a pick for the rest of the summer?
You know what? I love Drag Me to Hell. I'm seeing it again this week.
No kidding.
It's a movie. I think that it's not on enough people's radars. Once people hear how great it is, it's going to be that movie that everybody's going to pick up on.
I'm going to go, as far as my enthusiasm goes, it's all about District 9 for me at this point, especially after seeing the trailer that or the precursor that Dan recommended. That was really heartening for me and has me stoked even more for what may be a train wreck of V later on. But okay, look, we're gonna wrap things up. Real quick, it's Dan Trachtenberg at TotallyRadShow.com.
If you go to TotallyRadShow.com, don't email that because I never check that email.
Oh no, he's not talking about emails. Where can people
we
find
see more
your awesomeness?
Yeah, on the off chance that they haven't seen you before.
TotallyRadShow.com. Follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/DannyTRS. You can see some of the commercials I've directed at, it's about to change, but as of right now, it's tightfilms.com.
What is it? I have not actually watched these yet.
TYPE?
Tight as in, like I'm in a tight space.
As in, like, my girlfriend is really tight.
Dang,
and
okay, thank you. I knew you.
That.
I knew you were gonna head there. Thank you. Okay, and
I always go south.
Okay, and where can we see Cargill? Massa Worm.
All right, let's count this off. I am Massa Worm at
Twitter.
On Twitter, you can follow me at
right.
Massa Worm. You can also find me as Massa Worm on Ain't It Cool News.
Ain't It Cool? Do you guys have AICN.com?
I'm pretty sure we do. We've got all of them.
Ain't It Cool? Right. Okay.
Ain't It Cool News. You can find me as C. Robert Cargill at film.com.
Oh, right, at film.com. Film.com. Got it.
And I also appear as the animated character that is only slightly less animated than you see me now, Carlisle on Spill.com.
Spill.com, right on. Okay, let's do this. We're gonna play it quick, and of course you can see Scam School and some other tragedies online. I am going to wrap things up here.
And
we'll stick around for the after show. That was a lot of fun though. You guys take care. That's the rest of the episode. And we'll stick around for the after party. Don't go away, Danny T.